A gunshot rings out because this cool guy finally figured out how to use a firearm without missing. Boom. Tao, a fat-ass chairman in a Dracula suit, gets blasted right in the chest. Blood sprays and he crashes out like my bank statement. Bodyguards freak out, yelling his name like it's gonna help. Everyone else sprays bullets at our boy, Nia Yen. Bullets hit him non-stop, but the bastard's still smirking because money and power doesn't mean squat when you've got one bullet in revenge. Nia Yen drops, bleeding everywhere, but at least he got his payback. Last thought, why does fate gotta ruin my life on speed mode? He reaches for the light, refusing to quit even if life's final boss fight is a total joke. His eyes slowly opens and Nia Yen suddenly snaps awake. Instead of lying in a pool of blood, he finds himself resting in a bed without a single injury. He immediately sits up, his heartbeat faster than an isekai truck because he clearly remembers getting turned into Swiss cheese by bodyguards. He looks around the room and freezes. This is the same dump he lived as a student years ago. The realization hits faster than a bullet train. He got isekai'd. Just then, a news report playing on the ancient TV grabs his attention. It announces the launch of a brand new VR game called Conviction, and the servers have only been open for a week. His eyes widen because that confirms everything. He really is back in the past. He picks up a dusty picture frame and quietly looks at the photo of himself standing beside his parents. Then starts his sob story because every hero needs one nowadays. Back then, his parents hit the jackpot with a rare metal that the government wanted for a huge price, so they made a fortune overnight. His father used that money to build a smelting company, and before long, their family was living the rich life. Just when they were swimming in the money, life was about to pull the biggest scam imaginable. When Nia Yen turned 25, Tao Xu's Century Financial Group set its sights on his father's company. The people his father trusted the most took the bag, switched sides, and sold him out without blinking. Unable to live with the failure, his father ended his own life like a loser. His mother died shortly afterward from heartbreak, leaving Nia Yen completely alone. Looking at his reflection now, he admits that growing up spoiled made him lazy and waste his youth. Only after losing everything did he gamble his own life just to drag Tao Yu down with him. Now fate hands him a second chance, and his eyes burn with determination as he clenches his fist. This time, he refuses to lose anything because he already knows exactly where it all begins. Conviction is not just another game. It is a holographic virtual reality world that completely changes society and attracts every major financial group, like Tao Xu's empire. In his previous life, Nia Yen was far from being some random player. He reached the legendary level of 180 as one of the greatest thieves in the entire game. He quickly grabs his phone and checks the date. It is July 25. Conviction has only been live for 7 days. Relief instantly washes over him, because he is not too late. At this stage, the player sitting at the top of the leaderboard should only be around level 5. With every memory and every bit of experience from the future still fresh in his mind, catching up is not going to be some impossible grind. He remembers that his younger self still has a little money saved up, so he checks his bank account. The balance is barely enough to buy a basic gaming helmet. With a clear goal locked in, he puts some clothes on and heads out. This time, everything is getting rewritten. Later that night, the light inside his tiny apartment stays on. He knows he is 7 days behind everyone else, but with all the knowledge from his previous life, he plans to crush every rival and stand at the absolute top of Conviction once again. Tis this falsum where the line, his awareness slowly fades from reality as a system window appears before him. The first thing waiting for him is character creation. A massive world map opens up and asks him to choose the country where his journey will begin. The world of Conviction is split into 3 major factions. The first is the lawful good righteous faction, which includes the Vidian Empire and the Satrian Empire. The Vidian Empire is a human nation ruled by a council of elders. Meanwhile, the Satrian Empire is a tribal alliance made up of proud dwarves, fierce orcs, and elegant elves. Though the second faction is the lawful evil dark faction, made up of demon and undead tribes ruled by powerful dictators. The third option is the neutral faction, which is for players who prefer a peaceful path and includes races such as the giant tribes. Nia Yen does not hesitate for even a second. During his previous life, he chose the Vidian Empire and spent years playing as a Gale Thief. He knows every skill, every quest, and every shortcut by heart. Picking it again lets him cash in all that experience from his rebirth. Completely confident in his decision, he selects the Gale Thief class under the Vidian Empire. The system immediately confirms his choice before taking him to the naming screen. He enters the name Nirvana Flame. He enters the game and appears inside Calorie City. A familiar status window pops up in front of him. Level 1 Thief. 5 stat points available. Without wasting any time, he puts 3 points into strength and 2 into agility. During his previous life, he completely fumbled this part and wasted valuable time fixing his build later. He is definitely not making that rookie mistake again. Looking around the crowded city square, he sees new players everywhere as they begin their adventures. Some are already trying to make quick money by selling random items. One player loudly advertises a common dagger for 2 copper coins, insisting it is way better than the starter weapon. Nia Yen cannot help smirking. Bro is running a day 1 scam with full confidence, because that exact same dagger sells for only 1 copper coin in a nearby town. His past self actually fell for it, but this time nobody is farming free IQ points off him. Biak. Just then, another merchant catches his attention. A level 3 player named Silent Paladin is loudly trying to sell a stealth skill book while calling over every rookie thief nearby. Most of the new players immediately complain because 6 copper coins is way too expensive when almost everyone is still broke. For Nia Yen though, this is not a ripoff. He walks over to Silent Paladin and asks about the price. The answer stays the same at 6 copper coins, exactly as advertised. Nia Yen immediately starts thinking several steps ahead. Stealth is one of the most valuable skills in the early game because it lets him reach a hidden chest inside the Wildcat Zone, a level 5 area near Tracktown. Since nearly every player is still low level, that treasure chest should still be untouched. It is basically free loot for whoever has enough brain cells to get there first. Instead of paying, he throws out a bold deal. He offers to take the skill book for free, and in return he promises to reveal a secret farming location capable of dropping more than a dozen stealth books every single day. Silent Paladin instantly gets irritated. Seeing that Nia Yen is only level 1, Bro looks at him weird because he just spawned 5 seconds ago and is already making billionaire offers. Even after being brushed off, Nia Yen stays completely calm. He tells Silent Paladin to wait and accurately describes the exact place where the Paladin has been farming stealth books by killing fallen shamans in Link Town. Then he even gives the precise coordinates of that secret grinding spot. Silent Paladin freezes on the spot as a cold sweat starts forming. His face basically screams that this stranger should not know any of this. After a brief moment of hesitation, he hands over the stealth book. One book is a tiny price to pay if the information turns out to be real. A system window appears, confirming that the trade between Silent Paladin and Nirvana Flame is complete. Nia Yen keeps his word and gives him the coordinates of another fallen shaman camp. Silent Paladin is absolutely hyped because the potential profit is insane. Before leaving, Nia Yen makes one more request. Fallen shamans can also drop another skill book called Owl's Insight, and if Silent Paladin happens to get an extra copy, he asks him to mail it over. Silent Paladin quickly agrees, since if the new farming spot works, sending one extra skill book is basically pocket change. Now holding the stealth skill book, Nia Yen completes the first part of his plan. A faint glow surrounds him as he prepares for the next objective, opening the hidden treasure chest. Without wasting another second, he heads through the city until he reaches Tracktown, the closest settlement to his destination. The moment he arrives, he learns the stealth skill. He immediately activates it, and dark shadows wrap around his body until he completely disappears from sight. Moving like a ghost through the busy streets of Tracktown, he uses his agility to leap over the city walls instead of wasting time at the guarded gates. Clean movement, 0 NPC interactions. He lands outside in the forest and immediately sprints toward the high-level hunting grounds where the hidden treasure is waiting. Still hidden by stealth, he reaches the Wildcat Zone. The forest is packed with danger as level 2 to level 4 wildcats roam all over the place, ready to jump any player they spot. From behind the cover of the trees, Nia Yen finally sees what he came for. In Conviction, treasure chests are ranked by rarity. The order goes from common to silver, gold, dark gold, and finally legendary. The higher the rank, the crazier the rewards. Nia Yen keeps his eyes locked on the silver chest because that is the prize he came to claim. The loot inside is fixed, and once someone opens it, the chest disappears forever. For a level 1 player, walking into a level 5 area is basically asking for a free trip to respawn. Luckily, dying at his current level does not cost any experience, so he has nothing to lose. He activates stealth again and moves deeper into the forest. Slipping through the bushes like a shadow, he carefully avoids every wildcat on the ground before jumping into the branches of a massive tree. In heaven, he knows he has to move fast. Stealth only lasts 2 minutes, and opening a treasure chest is not instant. Suddenly, one of the wildcats below stops moving. Its glowing red eyes narrow as if it senses something is off. Without warning, it leaps into the air and slashes at the exact spot where Nia Yen stood only moments earlier. That cat is already getting suspicious, and Bro is one sniff away from ruining the whole mission. Knowing he cannot get too close or risk breaking his invisibility, Nia Yen quickly hops from branch to branch while staying above the confused wildcats. Finally, he lands silently on a thick branch right beside the silver chest. Without hesitating, he reaches toward it, and an opening progress bar immediately appears in front of him. His heartbeat starts pounding faster, but he forces himself to stay calm. At any moment, his stealth could wear off and turn this into the worst speedrun attempt imaginable. Down below, the wildcats become even more agitated, pacing back and forth beneath the tree. Then, after what feels like forever, the system confirms that opening the chest takes 27 long seconds. Nia Yen's eyes light up with excitement as he reaches inside and pulls out a skill book. The gamble pays off perfectly. The reward is a skill called Vital Strike, allowing him to deal 150% extra damage whenever he attacks an enemy's weak point. With that reward safely in his hands, his climb to the top of Conviction officially begins. Nia Yen smirks. At level 0, he already unlocks a top-tier skill that advanced thieves are supposed to get much later. With Vital Strike, his early game is about to become an absolute speedrun. Everything is falling into place exactly the way he plans it. As the skill book disappears, a system message confirms that he successfully learns Vital Strike. Phase 1 is complete, and the plan keeps cooking. Right as his stealth wears off, two huge red-eyed monsters below finally spot him. Perfect. That is exactly what he wants. Without a second thought, Nia Yen jumps straight into the group of giant cats. While falling, he even mentally thanks the confused monsters for babysitting the treasure chest for him. The disrespect is actually insane. In Conviction, dying normally means losing experience and sometimes dropping valuable gear. But Nia Yen is still level 0 and owns basically nothing worth crying over. For him, dying is not an L, it is free utility. One system notification after another pops up. He dies, his useless starter gloves drops. Then the system instantly teleports him to the nearest town. Everything goes exactly according to plan. Nia Yen respawns right in the middle of the crowded town square. A smile spreads across his face. He literally just weaponized death as a free fast travel mechanic. Big brain energy. Now it is time for phase 2 of his leveling strategy. Standing among countless clueless beginners, Nia Yen already knows he has a massive advantage over everyone here. Looking around the starting village, he realizes the first thing he needs is money, and thanks to his memories from his previous life, he already knows about a hidden quest chain. He first visits Hunter Claws and accepts a simple mission to collect 20 giant rat skulls. After that, he heads to Farmer End and picks up another quest to eliminate 50 silver gray giant rats. Just like he expects, accepting those 2 quests triggers the hidden requirement. Apothecary or walks over, unlocking a secret third quest that almost nobody knows exists. This little trick stays hidden from nearly every player, but Nia Yen remembers it perfectly. Smiling confidently, he accepts the hidden mission to collect 21 giant rat tails. All 3 quests line up perfectly, making every kill count toward multiple objectives. Out in the fields, a silver-gray giant rat quietly moves through the tall grass. It is exactly what he is looking for. Nia Yen rushes forward and activates Vital Strike. The skill does not even need a dagger to work. It deals 21 damage, way more than any normal level 0 player should ever be able to do. The rat instantly folds. A skull and a tail drop onto the ground, and his farming starts at full speed. Then his luck goes completely cracked. The very first monster also drops a rare item. Shining brightly in the grass is a pair of tough leather leggings. Nia Yen immediately realizes their value. Selling them at the auction house will give him the extra copper he needs for the next step of his plan. He keeps moving without slowing down. Soon he is taking on entire groups of giant rats. Vital Strike keeps landing over and over as the monsters drop one after another. The grind goes so smoothly that it is obvious he will finish everything way ahead of schedule. When he finally returns to the village, his inventory is completely full. He turns in the quest items to Hunter Claws, Farmer End, and Apothecary Droll. The rewards add up to 34 copper coins along with several health potions. Without wasting any time, he lists the leather leggings on the auction house before heading straight for the weapon shop. The shopkeeper welcomes him with a huge smile and starts hyping up his weapons like every salesman ever. Nia Yen is not there for the sales pitch. He already knows exactly what he wants. He asks for a level 0 crossbow with minimum 3 attack and a fast fire rate, all for less than 40 copper coins. The shopkeeper proudly brings out his best option, a rapid-fire hand crossbow with a triple shot effect. It is exactly what Nia Yen is looking for, and the price lands perfectly at 35 copper coins. He buys it immediately, then he grabs 9 bundles of rough iron bolts, each containing 1,000 bolts. The total bill comes to 44 copper coins, leaving him broke as hell. Armed with his new crossbow and an absurd mountain of ammo, Nia Yen leaves the shop as the owner wishes him safe travels like Nia Yen just spent a fortune. Fully prepared, he heads toward his real destination, the Bison Zone. The game has a strict level suppression system and the monsters there are level 8. For low-level players, they are basically walking nightmares. Even the strongest players are smart enough to stay away this early. Nia Yen, meanwhile, is completely unbothered. Thanks to everything he remembers from the future, he knows the level gap is not going to stop him. Even at level 0, he arrives at the Wild Bison Zone, a massive open plain filled with powerful monsters and dangerous cliffs. Carefully making his way through a narrow ravine, he heads toward one specific location burned into his memory. After climbing onto a high ledge, he quietly repeats the coordinates to himself. Yep, this is the spot. Looking down from above, he quickly finds the boss roaming the field below. It is the Bison Chieftain, a level 8 ranked monster that no beginner has any business fighting. For everyone else, this boss is basically a delete button. Nia Yen stays calm because from this ledge, he has the perfect angle. The boss is just inside his crossbow's range. He takes aim and starts firing. Bolt after bolt flies toward the unsuspecting boss. Because of the massive level difference, plenty of shots miss. Even the ones that connect only deal 1 point of damage, but Nia Yen does not care. He brings 9,000 bolts for a reason. His entire strategy is to slowly chip away at the boss from a place where it cannot reach him. He keeps firing over and over as tiny damage numbers slowly eat away at the Bison Chieftain's health bar. The boss becomes furious, but it cannot even figure out where the attacks are coming from. Finally, it lets out an angry roar and charges toward the cliff, only to slam face first into solid rock. Bro really thinks brute force is the answer. Nia Yen calmly watches the failed charge and mentally tells the beast to stop trying. This location is a well-known glitch spot where monsters cannot reach players because of the terrain. The Bison Chieftain is completely stuck. Safe on top of the cliff, Nia Yen keeps shooting without slowing down. Most of the bolts miss, but he only needs a handful to connect. Little by little, the giant health bar keeps shrinking. The air fills with the constant sound of flying bolts as his ammo count keeps dropping. The whole process is painfully slow. 3 exhausting hours crawl by before the Bison Chieftain's health finally drops into the red. The monster lets out one final painful roar, fully aware that it is about to lose. Nia Yen is drenched in sweat and completely exhausted after repeating the exact same attack thousands of times. Taking one deep breath, he fires a final shot. The bolt flies perfectly and lands right between the Bison Chieftain's eyes. Its health bar instantly hits 0. A boss that seems impossible for beginners to defeat falls to a single level 0 player. A system window immediately appears. Nia Yen receives an insane 1800% experience bonus because of the huge level difference, instantly jumping to level 2. After all that patience, the grind finally pays off. He quickly climbs down from the cliff to check the loot. The boss drops a horn dagger, a bronze-grade weapon. Equipment in Conviction ranges from common all the way to legendary, and elite monsters barely ever drop stat gear. The odds are less than 1 in 1,000. A bronze weapon deals 20% more damage than common equipment and also comes with an extra bonus stat. This level 5 dagger alone is worth at least 3 silver coins, but before selling or using it, he has to identify its hidden attributes. Just then, 2 notifications appear almost at the same time. His tough leather leggings sell for 8 copper coins, and he receives a call from a player named Flying Stone, a paladin he vaguely remembers from his previous life. Flying Stone appears on the call looking absolutely hyped. He excitedly explains that the farming location Nia Yen gave him is completely busted, and boosts his leveling speed by 50%. He even feels guilty, thinking he scammed Nia Yen by trading only 1 skill book for information that valuable. Nia stays calm and simply asks him to send over an Owl's Insight skill book if one ever drops. Flying Stone immediately agrees. Curious, he wonders how a level 0 player somehow knows about that secret farming spot. Nia Yen casually lies, saying he previously played on a high-level account before deciding to start fresh as a thief. Flying Stone instantly buys the story and becomes even more impressed, assuming Nia Yen must have been one of the top-ranked players. Changing the subject, Flying Stone asks whether Nia Yen's old account ever cleared the fallen shaman camp. He explains that his own team kept trying but got wiped over and over, losing both gear and experience every single time. Sensing easy money, Nia Yen calmly says he can provide a complete strategy guide for clearing the camp. The price is 2 silver coins and there is no negotiating. Flying Stone is shocked that Nia Yen even has a guide like that, but instead of questioning it, he becomes even more excited. He completely trusts Nia Yen and promises to convince his team captain to pay as soon as possible. After ending the call, Nia Yen focuses on his biggest reward. It is finally time to identify the horn dagger. He returns to Track Town and heads straight to the appraiser's shop to uncover its hidden stats. Inside, a beautiful elf appraiser who looks more like a succubus welcomes him. Nia Yen places the unidentified dagger on the counter and asks her to examine it. She surely belongs to the red light district since she asks for money before even lifting a finger. The price surprises him, but he immediately understands what it means. In Conviction, identification fees scale with an item's value. If it costs 10 copper just to identify, then the dagger is probably worth at least 12 silver coins on the market. Without hesitating, he pays the fee. The appraiser begins her work. The results are even better than he expects. The horn dagger is a bronze-grade weapon with a level 0 requirement, granting 18 attack and 5 strength. Nia Yen cannot hide his excitement. The bonus stat rolls into 5 strength, boosting his damage even further. Its base stats are nearly 10 times better than a normal starter dagger. With a weapon like this, he feels almost unstoppable during the early game. He casually checks his abilities. Now he's got a solid weapon, Vital Strike, and Stealth. Bro is basically built to be an assassin. The only thing he's still missing is a way to heal during long fights. Glass cannon builds are fun until somebody sneezes in his direction. Thieves have 2 options for healing: potions or bandages. Potions work fast but cost a fortune. Bandages take longer but are way cheaper. Bro isn't about to go broke over a scraped knee. He's rocking with bandages. Before leaving town, he stops by the apothecary. Bro's got a master plan cooking, and for that he needs 2 minor underwater breathing potions. Nia Yen also learns the bandage mastery skill he's been planning to grab. With everything ready, he heads toward his next stop, Lake Rando, a remote and dangerous area. The road there is packed with monsters. Nia Yen moves like a ghost, deleting them with quick, clean strikes. These mobs are getting folded so fast they don't even get a chance to file a complaint. Out here, players can steal kills or start fights whenever they feel like it. It's basically the GTA lobby. After a while, he reaches the fisherman village at Lake Rando. The main path cuts straight through the crowded village. Nia Yen already knows storming this place would take a raid team of at least 1,000 players. Since he's solo, stealth is the only play. Bro isn't trying to become today's free loot drop. Bro, as he's about to sneak in, a zone announcement pops up. The guild Victorious Return is clearing the area. Every non-guild player has 3 minutes to leave. These dudes really act like they pay rent for the server. Bro's Victorious Return brings back some seriously bad memories. Just like in his past life, they're still arrogant bullies. They claim entire zones as their own and jump anyone who refuses to leave. Nia Yen remembers them hunting him for months. This time, though, he's done playing nice. Right then and there, he decides he'll settle the score with them one step at a time. Revenge is officially on today's to-do list. Instead of leaving, Nia Yen activates stealth. His body melts into the shadows as he quietly slips through the village, passing dangerous fisherman guards like a literal ghost. Then suddenly, his stealth breaks. A fireball explodes right in front of him, exposing his position. A player named Purple Blaze attacks him, but thankfully self-defense mode activates. An Elementalist from Victorious Return steps forward with the biggest smug grin ever. He tells Nia Yen to get lost. Seeing him alone, the mage is already planning the victory speech. Nia Yen dodges another fire attack without wasting a second. His brain is already calculating every possible move. Against a mage, he's only got two choices: close the gap or run. Running? Yeah, not happening. Nia Yen didn't wake up today to roleplay a marathon runner. He already knows Pyroblast takes 2 seconds to cast for a thief that's basically an eternity. Before the mage even realizes what's happening, Nia Yen rushes forward and gets right in his face. The spell isn't even halfway done before his dagger is already flying. The mage completely loses it. He starts yelling that this territory belongs to Victorious Return and that Nia Yen must have a death wish. Bro talks like he personally coded the game, trying to create some distance. He casts Ring of Fire. Flames explode around him in a blazing circle. Nia Yen gets caught inside, and his HP starts melting from the heat. The mage probably thinks he's got this in the bag. Yeah, about that. Without hesitating, Nia Yen drinks a minor recovery potion. His HP shoots right back up. The mage watches his entire game plan uninstall itself in real time. This is exactly the moment Nia Yen has been waiting for. Instead of backing off, he walks straight through the flames and lands another clean hit. The mage instantly goes from confident to this wasn't in the script. It's already over. Nia Yen has broken through his defenses and is about to finish the job. While watching Nia Yen burn, the mage quickly checks both HP bars. He figures the thief has to be almost dead. Meanwhile, he's only sitting at 51 HP. Now it's a race against time. If he lands one more fireball, he wins. At least that's what he keeps telling himself. Purple Blaze screams that this is the price for challenging Victorious Return before desperately throwing out another fireball. But he rushes it. Sloppy. That aim is about as reliable as a random teammate in ranked. Nia Yen casually sidesteps the attack like he's dodging a puddle. At that exact moment, his dagger glows with a dark crimson light. Vital Strike. This decidedly jeds but at planes. The blade plunges deep into the mage's chest. Purple Blaze just stands there buffering, as his body slowly breaks apart into pixels. He genuinely can't process how a level 2 thief survived all of his strongest spells. Nia Yen only gives him a small smile. As Purple Blaze fades away, the truth finally clicks. Nia Yen used an instant recovery potion, but that shouldn't even be possible. A solo level 2 player shouldn't have enough money to buy something that expensive. Nia Yen calmly tells him he can spend his respawn timer thinking about it. Without wasting another second, he grabs the level 2 bronze staff the mage drops. No time to celebrate. He already knows the rest of the guild is about to pull up. Sure enough, nearby guild members see Purple Blaze get packed up. The entire guild immediately starts yelling and orders everyone to catch the killer. Bro really deleted one mage and activated the whole server's emergency meeting. Without wasting another second, Nia Yen bolts toward the lake. The guild's warriors immediately give chase. One of them laughs, saying there's no way he's escaping. Bro really thinks he's the final boss after watching his teammate get packed up. A fighter charges in and swings a massive greatsword with everything he's got, yelling that Nia Yen isn't getting away. Too bad. That swing is slower than hotel Wi-Fi. Nia Yen casually sidesteps it like a plague. The warrior just freezes. Bro cannot believe a thief dodged his guaranteed hit. My guy really put all his stat points into strength and forgot accuracy existed. As Nia Yen reaches the edge of the cliff, he pulls out one of the Manor underwater breathing potions he bought earlier. The guild members instantly realize what he's planning. Everyone starts yelling over each other. The warriors activate every movement skill they've got and rush him, desperately trying to block his path before he reaches the water. Nia Yen glances back with a faint smile as he watches the entire squad grief themselves. At this point, they're doing more damage to each other than he ever could. Bro isn't about to go broke over a scraped knee. He's rocking with bandages. One of the warriors nervously reports that the target escaped into the lake. He tells them to find out when Purple Blaze respawns and get that thief's player ID immediately. Purple Blaze hands over the name Nirvana Flame. While the guild leader silently swears revenge, Nia Yen swims deeper into the quiet water below. Safe underwater, he finally lets out a slow breath. Mission accomplished. He escaped the guild without taking the L. Now it's finally time for the real objective. He remembers a hidden treasure chest somewhere beneath these waters. Thanks to the memories from his previous life, finding it is almost effortless. A few moments later, hidden beneath thick patches of seaweed, he spots exactly what he's looking for. Inside the chest sits the fisherman's water-repelling pearl. The item lets him breathe underwater for 30 minutes. It's not incredibly rare, but for his current plan, absolutely clutch. Right as he stores the pearl away, A sharp trident slices past his face. Well, there goes the peaceful exploration. Without realizing it, Yahello wanders straight into a fisherman's den. The creatures immediately surround him from every direction. Fighting them underwater on their home turf? Yeah, that's basically volunteering to become seafood. Yahello quickly looks toward the surface. Then it clicks. The noise he creates underwater has already alerted the fisherman tribe on shore. At the exact same time, Victorious Return is still busy attacking the fisherman village, completely clueless that another angry army is about to pull up. Yahello purposely swims upward, leading the furious underwater fishermen straight toward the guild. Congratulations, they've successfully unlocked the consequences of their own actions. Yahello silently thanks Victorious Return for clearing the path for him. While both sides are busy throwing hands, spells, and absolutely zero critical thinking, he quietly swims away toward his real destination. A few minutes later, he climbs onto the island and finally takes a deep breath. Everything goes exactly according to plan. Then suddenly, a scream for help echoes across the island. Yahello immediately turns toward the sound, then freezes. Pink hair, it's Yahello, the holy mage from his old party. Out of every place in the game, RNG really decides to cook today. He can't believe they meet again this soon. Memories from his previous life instantly come flooding back. All the battles they fight together. All the moments around the campfire. Seeing her again almost feels like fate. Back in the present, he sees Yahello struggling in the water while 3 water spiders gang up on her. Without thinking twice, he dives straight back into the lake. He reaches her in seconds and immediately lands Vital Strike on one of the spiders. Caught completely off guard by the sudden rescue, Yahello quickly regains her focus and fires off Holy Judgment at another spider. His dagger and her holy magic land at exactly the same time. The synchronization is so clean you'd think they've been practicing together off camera. Within moments, the water spiders are completely wiped out. When the last water spider disappears, Yahello finally makes it back to shore and sincerely thanks him. Yahello just shrugs it off like it's no big deal, before introducing himself with his in-game name, Nirvana Flame. Yahello softly repeats the name, Nirvana Flame. Something about it feels strangely familiar. It instantly reminds her of someone she knows in real life. Yahello, she quietly wonders if they're actually the same person. What are the odds? She introduces herself properly as Yahello. Since he literally saved her life, she smiles and suggests they add each other as friends, so she can repay him someday. Yahello accepts without hesitation. Just like that, one of the most important connections from his previous life is back. Yahello smiles and asks what she's doing all the way out on this random island. Yahello explains she's farming water spiders for their water sacks. Coincidentally, Yahello is hunting the exact same monsters too, just for a different drop. He's after fine silk. Yet since they're already farming the same mobs anyway, he suggests they form a party. Yahello agrees immediately. Honestly, that's probably the fastest party invite anyone has ever accepted. Then she suddenly opens a trade window. Without saying much, she hands over all the fine silk she's already collected as a thank you gift. Bro wasn't expecting payment. He was expecting a thanks. Instead, he gets loot. The trade goes through, and Yahello receives 12 spools of fine silk. At the current market price, they're worth around 36 copper coins. For a brand new player, that's actually a pretty insane amount. Yahello insists it's nothing compared to someone saving her life. Besides, she doesn't even need the silk. Yahello pauses for a second before accepting. A free upgrade is still a free upgrade, but before they can continue talking, boom, the lake suddenly explodes. Water erupts everywhere as a massive figure slowly rises from beneath the surface. The Water Spider Lord, a chieftain-level boss. A chieftain isn't something 2 low-level players are supposed to fight. This thing is basically the neighborhood bully on steroids. Running would have been the smart option. Too bad, they don't get one. A notification pops up, confirming their party is officially formed. The battle begins. Yahello doesn't hesitate for even a second. He rushes straight at the boss and immediately activates Vital Strike. The attack lands clean, and Yahello instantly follows up with Holy Judgment. A brilliant beam of holy light crashes into the giant spider, dealing heavy damage and making the boss stagger. The Theba the Water Spider Lord screeches in anger before swinging one of its razor-sharp legs toward Yahello. Yahello warns her just in time. She reacts instantly and barely avoids getting turned into spider food. Seeing the boss shift its attention, Yahello immediately swaps to his crossbow. He tells Yahello he'll keep the boss occupied while she focuses entirely on dealing damage. Several bolts fly straight into the spider's eyes. Critical annoyance achieved. The boss immediately locks onto Yahello. While the boss chases him around, Yahello starts unloading every powerful spell she has. Holy Light rains down one attack after another, and the Water Spider Lord's HP starts disappearing faster than a paycheck on payday. Then, a massive beam of Holy Light slams into the boss. Critical hit. That spider just felt its ancestors flinch. The combined damage is simply too much. The gigantic chieftain lets out one final roar before collapsing into the lake, its enormous body slowly sinking beneath the surface. Silence returns to the island. Yahello just stands there completely speechless. She can't explain what just happened. A chieftain-level boss got taken down by 2 low-level players, and somehow it did not even feel difficult. Fighting beside Nea Yen feels unbelievably natural. Their teamwork is so smooth you'd think they've been duo queuing since launch. Nea Yen notices the thoughtful look on her face and casually asks what she's thinking about. Startled, she quickly shakes her head and says it's nothing before smiling and complimenting his incredible skills. She can't understand why someone this strong is still playing solo. Most players would have joined a top guild by now. Nea Yen simply smiles. He's used to fighting alone, always has been. Hearing that immediately gives Yahello an idea. A hopeful smile spreads across her face as she tells him her group is getting ready to raid Trent Forest and asks if he'd like to join them. He straight up asks her how many shield warriors her squad has, and more importantly, how much defense and HP they're packing. Sounds like average gamer yapping, right? Nah. For Nea Yen, this is low-key life or death info. Bro already knows the Trent Forest is built different. Yahello tries to help and tells him the team has 2 shield warriors. Each one has 53 defense and 230 HP. To everyone else, those stats look pretty decent. But to Nea Yen, yeah, that's some work cooked type of build. Bro does the math in his head faster than a calculator and immediately realizes the squad is walking straight into the respawn menu. 1 crit, and they're deleted faster than bad Wi-Fi. The priest can't save them either because you can't heal someone who's already taking a permanent dirt nap. Yo-Yo is completely stunned. Ain't no way anyone is supposed to know this already. The game literally just dropped. Obviously, Nea Yen isn't about to say, yeah, I time traveled. Now Yao starts stressing. Getting bronze defense gear to hit 60 defense this early is basically RNG bullying the entire server. For a normal team, it's almost impossible. But Nea Yen bro already has the recipe. He asks her to let him lead the team. Imagine some random thief showing up and saying, yeah, let me cook. But after everything she's seen, she actually considers it. She says she'll try to convince everyone, even though she knows convincing a raid to follow a random dude is going to be one heck of a side quest. Vishivi decide to check the loot drops, and the drops are actually fire. Yahello uses the appraisal skill to inspect it. Na Yahello raises an eyebrow. That skill is rarer than common sense in ranked lobbies. The item turns out to be fine silk gauntlets. Absolute chef's kiss starter gear for a mage. Since he's building goodwill instead of acting like a loot goblin, he immediately hands the gauntlets to Yahello. Of course, he doesn't leave empty-handed either. He finds a skill book called Assassinate. For a thief, this skill is absolutely cracked. Yahello is clearly impressed, not just by how skilled he is, but by how generous he acts. Then, out of nowhere, a system notification pops up. The game announces it will shut down in 3 minutes. Servers basically saying, "Aight y'all, touch grass." They say goodbye, promise to meet again next time, and log out as flashes of digital light. The scene shifts back to reality. Nea Yen wakes up in bed, still holding his VR helmet. He takes a deep breath and realizes something important. In the game, he's getting absolutely stacked. In real life, bro is still built like a walking breadstick. Then his thoughts drift to Cao Shu, the man who ruined his life in the previous timeline. If Yahello wants to survive what's coming, leveling up in-game isn't enough. He has to stop skipping the real-life character build too. He walks out of the house, but life immediately decides to spawn a random event. A huge truck comes flying down the street. The tires scream louder than a horror movie soundtrack as it speeds past. Nea Yen loses his balance and falls. Just then, a girl rushes over to help him. It's Yahello. She asks if he's okay, checks for injuries, and lightly scolds him for being careless. She tells him she has a first aid kit in her car and goes to grab it. While she's gone, Nea Yen quietly watches her. The memories hit him because emotional damage. She isn't just his teammate, she's someone he deeply regrets losing. Back then, he was too weak and too scared to confess his feelings. Because of her connection to him, Saoju's financial empire eventually targeted her too, pushing her into severe mental breakdown. While she cleans the small cuts on his body, she keeps scolding him for being careless. Then their eyes meet and Nea Yen smiles. Yao immediately starts blushing. Girl's CPU almost crashes. She quickly looks away and wonders if he's even listening. Nea Yen calmly tells her he can always rely on her to take care of him. While still blushing, she quickly turns around and mutters that she'd never want to take care of someone like him before saying goodbye. But after getting into her car, she glances back at him. She starts wondering if Nea Yen could actually be the mysterious player Nirvana Flame. He feels different now, more confident, just like that player. Nea Yen watches her drive away. He's genuinely happy to see her again. She's still just as kind and charming as he remembers. His face does not look happy at all because his thoughts return to Cao Shu. He knows that man will eventually try to ruin his life again. That's exactly why he has to grow stronger in conviction as fast as possible. At that moment, his phone suddenly rings. It is Tang Yao. When Nea Yen picks up, Tang Yao immediately starts yelling, like he's been buffering for 2 days straight. He demands to know why bro has been ghosting him. Then he orders him to come meet him right now. Nea Yen is surprised for a second. Then he just smiles, low-key soft for a moment, and says he is actually happy to hear his voice again. Memories start flooding back into him. Tang Yao is his best friend from his past life. When Nea Yen's life fell apart, Tang Yao secretly helped him many times, basically carrying bro through chaos behind the scenes. He even risked getting caught by Cao Shu's people, Because of Tong Yao, Nia Yen's rough days got slightly less miserable. But bro is addicted to chasing women like it's a full-time job with overtime. In Nia Yen's previous life, Tang Yao got into a bar fight because of jealousy and provoked someone way above his league. In the end, he got absolutely folded and left dying in a dark alley. In this life, Nia Yen refuses to let that clown-level tragedy repeat. Soon they meet on the street. Tang Yao instantly puts Nia Yen in a playful headlock like nothing ever happened, acting all hype and chaotic. The two start talking about the game. Nia Yen casually says he is currently a level 2 wind thief. Tang Yao is shocked for a moment because reaching level 2 this early is already not normal player behavior. Then Tang Yao proudly flexes that he is a level 3 arcane mage, acting like he didn't just get surprised seconds ago. After that, they head to a place called the PK Bar. It is a special location where players connect to machines and fight using in-game characters in battle simulations. It is part high-end gaming cafe, part competitive arena, basically where egos go to get tested. Tang Yao likes coming here to gamble on matches even though bro is basically donating money at this point. Right then, trouble walks in. A man named Wei Kai enters with a group of friends. The moment he sees Tang Yao, he starts mocking him, asking if he came back just to lose more money again. Tang Yao is clearly annoyed, but also weirdly entertained by the disrespect because it's nothing new. Then Wei Kai notices Nia Yen and sneers. He asks if the beating from last time wasn't enough. So yeah, Nia Yen has already been bullied here before. Tang Yao quickly says that as long as he is here, Nia Yen is safe and nobody is going to touch him. But Wei Kai notices something is off. Nia Yen doesn't look scared anymore. Instead, he looks confident, like he unlocked a new personality update. Soon, Tang Yao enters a simulator pod to fight Wei Kai. He bets 200 credits per round like he's not risking rent money. The match starts between Tang Yao, level 3 arcane mage, and Wei Kai, level 3 berserker. Nia Yen immediately reads the situation because Yu is now an official system analyst. The berserker has a charged skill. The arcane mage specializes in long-range attacks and control magic. However, the battlefield is flat and open, basically a get-rushed-and-die arena. Because of this, the berserker can easily close distance and delete the mage in close combat. After analyzing everything, Nia Yen already understands the outcome. Tang Yao is probably losing this round. Just then, one of Wei Kai's friends talks to Nia Yen, saying Tang Yao is about to lose, and asking if Nia Yen wants to step in instead for a few rounds. Nia Yen looks at him calmly and confidently, and says they only play one round and only if the bet is worth it. The man gets annoyed at his attitude. Arrogantly, he raises the bet to 700 credits for a single match, saying he will teach Nia Yen a lesson. He is already 100% sure it is an easy win. The crowd shifts attention to the screen as the new match loads between Nia Yen, a level 2 wind thief, and Shi Feng, a level 2 ranger. The simulation begins and the randomly selected map appears. Bamboo Forest. Shi Feng spawns in. For a brief moment, both players see each other. But Nia Yen instantly activates stealth and disappears like he never existed. Shi Feng activates abilities and searches everywhere, running through the forest, scanning in every direction. But he finds nothing, not even a trace. Even though he expected an easy win, his opponent has literally evaporated. At that moment, Nia Yen silently spots Shi Feng from above. His mind stays extremely calm and focused. With 10 years of thief experience, hiding presence is second nature. In a split second, Nia Yen appears behind him. This is not a normal fight, it is an execution. Nia Yen's dagger glows with deadly energy as he strikes. Shi Feng's HP drops from a 110 to 70 in one hit. He quickly turns around in panic, trying to counterattack, still confused about when Nia Yen got behind him. But the fight is already over. As Shi Feng's attack comes close to Nia Yen's face, Nia Yen calmly says it is already over. Vital Strike deals 70 damage. Game over. Shi Feng's character straight up drops to the ground instantly. Match ends in a blink. Gaming lounge vibe flips from chill to full-on shock in 1 second. Big KO flashes on the screen, trolling everyone. Meanwhile, Nia Yen is just chilling in his gaming pod like he just completed a tutorial mission, not a full duel. On the other side, Shi Feng is still in his pod, drenched in sweat, eyes wide. But let's cut him some slack. Bro just witnessed a horror speedrun. He keeps replaying everything in his mind on loop, like how did that even happen? He questions since when is Nia Yen became like this. He remembers the old version, quiet, timid, always swallowing his anger. Now it's a completely different person standing there. That old Nia Yen gone, deleted. Nia Yen casually asks how Tang Yao's match went, even though he already knows it didn't go well. Tang Yao sighs and admits he got wrecked, lost 2 rounds and is down 1,200 credits. For students, that's basically pain and money for him. He explains his opponent Wei Kai picked up a skill called Berserker's Anti-Magic Aura. Tang Yao is frustrated because it hard counters his arcane mage build. In his head, the match felt unwinnable. But Nia Yen just shakes his head and explains calmly that the anti-magic aura only reduces a small amount of spell damage. It's not as broken as people think. He says if spell timing is done right, a berserker is actually beatable. Tang Yao suddenly realizes he messed up. He admits he didn't time his spells properly. Everything went on cooldown and the berserker just rushed him down and finished him. Then he looks at Nia Yen confused, wondering when he even learned all this. Nia Yen just casually shows the money he just won. Tang Yao's eyes go wide and he's like, "You actually won all that?" Then the mood flips again. The bullies show up, angry, heated, salty energy everywhere. One of them threatens to teach Nia Yen a lesson for taking their cash. Things escalate fast. The guy swings a punch at Nia Yen in real life, but Nia Yen doesn't even flinch. He catches the fist mid-air, redirects the force cleanly, and slams him straight into the floor. The dude crashes hard and screams, "Absolute humiliation moment." Nia Yen just stands there calm, remembering how in his past life he trained his body to survive tough situations and deal with strong enemies like Cao Shu. Behind him, Tang Yao is completely stunned. Like, when did my friend become this? Other bullies start getting nervous. One whispers they should stop messing with him because he's clearly not normal. Even their leader notices how Nia Yen is different now. When the boss asks if he beat up his underling, Nia Yen leans back casually, arms crossed, and says they were just messing around and the opponent was kinda weak. That insult lands hard, straight disrespect in front of the boss. So the boss challenges Nia Yen through a game duel. Nia Yen agrees, but only if the stakes are high enough. The challenger sets 1,000 credits per round, with 3,000 total. Tang Yao starts panicking immediately. He quickly points out it's unfair. Level 3 Berserker versus Level 2 Shadow Dancer Thief. Nia Yen just raises 3 fingers, 3,000 per round. He literally triples the bet. The challenger pauses, then laughs, confident that it's free money. Tang Yao grabs Nia Yen's shoulder, reminding him he doesn't even have that kind of money. Nia Yen calmly says he doesn't, which is exactly why he's borrowing from Tang Yao. Tang Yao panics, then sighs and agrees anyway, trusting him. System kicks in. They enter the game, screen shifts. VS display appears. Nia Yen versus Berserker. Map loads, wide open grassland, endless green fields. Tang Yao instantly drops his mood. This map is terrible for thieves. No cover, no shadows, nowhere to hide, basically nightmare mode. Opponent even offers to change the map, clearly mocking him. Nia Yen just says no need, they fight here. Nia Yen activates stealth and fades invisible. Berserker scans carefully, watching the grass. He thinks movement will expose Nia Yen. Nia Yen knows that he is at a disadvantage, so he decides to borrow some external force like the wind. Wind picks up, grass waves hard. Berserker swings his giant sword into the moving area, misses. He has actually never seen anyone use such a mastery of stealth before. Meanwhile, Nia Yen is waiting for the next gust of wind to strike. The Berserker thinks the kid must be moving slowly in stealth to avoid revealing flaws, but then the wind picks up and Nia Yen is already behind him. Berserker panics and uses whirlwind/spinning wildly to push him away. But Nia Yen already backed off and is watching. He knows the cooldown window about 1 second after the spin. That's the opening. Spin ends. Berserker is exposed. Frozen moment. Nia Yen lunges instantly. Dagger hits. Vital strike activates. Spectators freak out. Someone yells it's impossible. Perfect timing. Berserker HP drops fast and he is now 1 hit away from getting deleted. Enraged and desperate, he lifts his sword and triggers his final move, Flame Slash. His blade erupts in fire as he swings down with everything he has. Tang Yao panics and yells for him to dodge immediately. At that moment, Nia Yen remains steady, thinking that close combat is still his advantage as a thief and that his HP is high enough to absorb a hit while maintaining positioning. He raises his sword and blocks the incoming strike. Wei Kai reacts with anger, frustrated that Nia Yen has dared to tank his skill and act so confidently. He follows up instantly with 1 strike slash, sending a wave of energy forward while charging in behind it to continue the combo. Tang Yao becomes increasingly anxious, realizing the charge effect includes a brief stun and that another hit could end the fight immediately. One of Wei Kai's subordinates mocks Nia Yen's behavior, assuming he is only pretending to be strong against Boss Wad. In the middle of the attack sequence, Nia Yen suddenly moves and cleanly dodges the incoming strike. He tightens his grip on his dagger, recognizing that charge has a shorter reach than his weapon. He immediately decides to counter. Both players land their attacks simultaneously and are pushed back by the impact of the clash. Yui Kai's HP drops to 0 as he collapses in complete shock. Nia Yen is also forced backward, but stabilizes himself by planting his dagger into the ground. A system notification confirms Nia Yen's victory. Tang Yao reacts in shock and excitement at the outcome, but Wei Kai's subordinate remains stunned. After removing his helmet, Wei Kai acknowledges the defeat in disbelief. As soon as Nia Yen exits the game pod, Tang Yao approaches him with excitement, impressed by the result and the level difference overcome. Tang Yao then expresses interest in learning the Arcane Mage class, and Nia Yen agrees to teach everything he knows. Wei Kai later approaches with his subordinates. Instead of denying the result or showing resentment, he formally accepts the loss and behaves with composure. He extends an invitation for future interaction at his bar, then leaves with his group. One subordinate questions the attitude change, but Wei Kai explains that Nia Yen's growth potential is significant, and that making an enemy out of him would be unwise. Nia Yen and Tang Yao proceed to leave together, with Nia Yen deciding to feasting with the day's earnings. He also mentions discussing arcane mage training later in the game. That night, Neo Yen trains his physical body in his room, reflecting on the advantage of having a young body. After resting, he prepares to re-enter Conviction, remembering his promise to run Trent Forest with Yao Yao's team. Upon logging back in, multiple notifications appear. One indicates a friend request, while another shows a silver coin deposit and a message from Flying Stone confirming success in clearing a dungeon and requesting additional guidance for another area. Neo Yen accepts the friend request and deduces that Ba Zi is likely Tang Yao, planning to bring him into the Trant Forest run. He also decides against immediately providing additional dungeon walkthroughs, reasoning that releasing too much information too quickly would draw unwanted attention. Neo Yen then notices a hidden quest trigger involving Physician Blevins, who requests collected fine silks. Neo Yen submits 30 pieces and receives an intermediate combat skill, Combat Bandage, which restores HP using silk materials but requires channeling time and can be interrupted. Despite turning in the items, quest progress shows only partial completion, indicating a chain quest structure. Physician Blevins confirms that more silks are still required. Neo Yen accepts the continuation of the task and recognizes the extended nature of the questline. Shortly after, a message arrives from Yao Yao indicating that the group is assembled. At the Trant Town teleport point, Tang Yao waits impatiently until Neo Yen arrives. Yao Yao and her teammates arrive shortly after, drawing everyone's attention because they are a massive group. Seeing the beauties in the group makes Tang Yao wag his tail, but everyone ignores him for good measure. Yao Yao explains that persuading Yulan to join took effort and emphasizes the importance of not losing face during the run. One teammate, Chenbo, already shows resistance toward Neo Yen's involvement. Yulan steps forward and confirms if he can lead them through the Tree Demon Forest. Neo Yen confidently states that the Trant Forest will be cleared. He then establishes himself as team captain and sets the expectation that all members follow his commands, creating immediate tension among the group. Chenbo openly challenges the decision, questioning his authority and reliability, and expressing concern about the risk to the entire team. Yulan locks eyes on Chenbo because she is already tired of the nonsense and calls him out, saying this is exactly what they agreed on beforehand and asking what kind of random stunt he's trying to pull now. Chenbo looks completely shook and fires back at Yulan, acting baffled and questioning why she's suddenly defending some outsider. Yulan then turns toward Nirvana Flame, instantly switching tone and acting super respectful, apologizing on Chenbo's behalf and saying he can form the team and she'll make sure everyone joins under him. Nirvana Flame stays calm and basically sets the rules straight, saying that if he's leading, everyone follows his commands 100%, no debate. If anyone has issues, they can deal with him after. If they don't like it, they're free to leave. But if anyone starts acting shady during the run or causes a team wipe, he won't go easy on them at all. No cap, he's not playing. Right after that, he uses the system to form the team and starts inviting players one by one. Notifications pop up non-stop of players joining. Yulan calmly announces that from now on, Nirvana Flame's orders are basically her orders too, and anyone trying to sneak around or act funny will be cut off from her team in the future. Chenbo, after seeing all this, ends up joining too, still suspicious but going along. Nirvana Flame continues, saying their goal is simple: clear the Trant Forest dungeon. He points out that aside from Bayat and himself, everyone is basically on the same side, so there's no point acting hostile and risking a wipe. He even says if any mistakes happen because of his bad calls, he'll pay everyone 10 silver coins as compensation. Yao Yao and others are stunned to hear the announcement. Yulan is questioning where Yao Yao even found this guy, saying he's way too confident and bold, maybe even capable of actually leading them through. Yao Yao just smiles and insists she already said Nirvana Flame can do it. Nirvana Flame then shifts into full leader mode and tells everyone to report their names and stats, starting with the shield warriors. Boiled Water steps up first, saying he's a shield warrior, main tank role. After that, multiple players recount their names and stares, and it goes on for a while. After hearing everything, Nirvana Flame immediately starts assigning prep like a boss. He tells Boiled Water to go buy a haste potion and tells Pumpkin to get a strength potion. Boiled Water is nervous, spamming that it's too expensive, and Pumpkin adds that even clearing the dungeon might not even cover the cost. Chenbo squints, thinking this guy is just wasting money and pretending to be pro. Tang Yao jumps in, roasting Chenbo, calling him out for talking too much and even clowning him about being broke and not affording potions. Chenbo instantly gets heated and starts yelling back. Yao Yao then gets anxious and asks Nirvana Flame if they really need all these potions just for normal difficulty, because they might not even earn it back. Nirvana Flame just smiles and says they'll understand later because this is not a waste at all. Yulan then orders Boiled Water and Pumpkin again to follow instructions. After everything is ready, they move out with Nirvana's lead. They arrive at the Trant Forest entrance where a massive stone stands with swirling air currents around it. Nirvana Flame tells them to wait while he opens the dungeon. He steps forward, places his hand on the stone, and ancient text starts glowing across it. A cryptic message echoes about forest walkers, dawnlight, shepherd's flute, and ancient sleeping souls. A system screen appears asking for dungeon difficulty. Without hesitation, he selects expert, and then the whole squad gets teleported inside. The system announces the difficulty level as soon as they enter, and chaos hits immediately. Pumpkin freaks out asking what just happened and why it's expert difficulty. Yulen gets tense, silently realizing this guy might have planned this from the start instead of making a mistake. Chembo straight up loses it and accuses Nirvana Flame of trying to get them killed and causing a team wipe on purpose just to make them lose XP. Nirvana Flame stays chill and replies that since he brought them in, he also has a way to bring them out, and if anyone's unhappy they can leave the team anytime. Chembo tries to fire back, but Yahello cuts him off, defending Nirvana Flame and telling Chembo to stop targeting him. Chembo freezes a bit, annoyed that she's backing him, thinking he didn't expect that kind of support at all. Nirvana Flame explains calmly that expert difficulty only means monsters have about 30% more HP, shield users need slightly better defense, mages need slightly higher damage. That's it. As for the boss, he'll handle adjustments when the time comes. Yulan hears this and thinks he's making it sound way too easy, because even small stat differences in dungeons can snowball into a wipe, let alone 30%. Yahello nervously asks if he's really confident. Before she can finish, Nirvana Flame just tells her to relax. The loser watches him closely, thinking he wants to see how this guy plans to survive expert mode. They move forward into the forest, and a strong wind starts blowing. Suddenly, thick vines burst from the ground. Nirvana Flame instantly shouts a warning and tells everyone they've entered attack range and to spread out. But it's too late, for some vines lash out everywhere and wrap around Chembo's arms and legs, locking him down completely. One vine digs into the ground and a massive tree monster emerges, towering over them. Panic spreads instantly. The vines start dragging Chembo toward it. The guy folds instantly, screaming for help and shouting for Captain Nirvana Flame to save him as he gets pulled in. The tree demon sprints forward like it's got zero chill, literally dragging Chembo along while he's yelling for help on a full-on panic livestream. Nirvana Flame instantly goes commander mode, dropping rapid-fire orders. The shield warriors step up and lock in, holding their ground with shields raised, trying to shove back a literal giant walking plant. Meanwhile, the mages start blasting from every angle, their spells hitting hard and triggering a massive explosion that deletes the tree demon's HP straight to zero. The vines finally loosen and drop Chembo, who hits the ground and pops back up furious, immediately blaming Nirvana Flame and shouting that he did it on purpose. He keeps ranting that Nirvana Flame saw the tree demon earlier and didn't warn him, acting like he's not the one who got folded in 4K by a plant monster. Nirvana Flame claps back, telling Chembo to get his facts straight, saying everyone saw the tree demon at the same time and even the shield warriors dodged it, while he didn't, basically calling him out for having negative awareness stats. Tong Yao jumps in too, roasting him harder and saying blaming others is just comedy at this point, and random street thieves would probably play better than him. Yulen steps in calmly and basically tells Chembo he's embarrassing himself at this point, which leaves him stunned and even more pressed. Nirvana Flame then switches back to leader mode and says to move forward, warning that dark elf traps are everywhere in the tree demon forest. He adds that he'll clear the path and even throws in a savage comment about teaching Chembo how to actually play a thief since he clearly forgot. The team moves fast through the forest as Nirvana Flame leads. Suddenly, a trap triggers and a thick tree branch crashes down. Nirvana Flame reacts instantly, yelling to watch out, then jumps between trees like it's parkour practice, dodging clean. More traps activate as he moves forward, arrows shooting from hidden spots, but he slips past them effortlessly. A wire trap drops above him and he slices it mid-air without hesitation. Tang Yao watches in shock, realizing bro is actually cracked at thief gameplay. Yulen also gets surprised at how insane his trap efficiency is. Behind them, Chembo gets jealous and runs forward yelling about how it's not impressive, and he can do it too, basically speedrunning bad decisions. The second his foot lands, the ground collapses and he falls straight into a hidden pit trap, screaming that he's done for. Just before it gets worse, Nirvana Flame casually grabs his leg and pulls him out, and tosses him safely onto solid ground. He calmly calls him out, saying he's the worst thief he's ever seen in his life. Chembo is fuming and accuses Nirvana Flame of setting him up, while acting like the forest personally hates him on purpose. Tang Yao immediately shuts that down and says he would have been dead if Nirvana didn't save him. Nirvana Flame just replies the obvious logic, saying he stepped on the trap himself and didn't get pushed, so the blame game is useless, and then adds that Chembo just isn't fit for thief class at all. The man loses it, and points his sword, threatening a duel and yelling that he'll kill him. Nirvana Flame calmly catches the blade between two fingers to farm some aura, and replies that if it's a duel, Chembo better bring backup or it'll be too boring. Qifeng instantly goes tense and nervous. Yulen steps in again, telling Qifeng he's the one who triggered the trap and is just lashing out unfairly. Yahello adds that Nirvana Flame literally saved his life and he's still acting like a bitch. Qifeng keeps insisting it's all Nirvana Flame's fault and complains about outsiders versus teammates. The shield warrior finally shuts it down, pointing out that Qifeng has been targeting Nirvana Flame the whole time and everyone can see it. That hits him hard. Chembo laughs bitterly, calls them all out, then rage quits the party, saying he'll see how Nirvana Flame leads them through the dungeon. Yahello steps in feeling bad and apologizes to Nirvana Flame for inviting him, but he just responds calmly that it's actually better without someone causing trouble, already mentally planning to build his own party going forward. Yulan moves things forward, saying they should focus on clearing the dungeon. Half an hour later, Nirvana Flame reports back after scouting in stealth that the path is blocked by 18 tree demons. Yulan immediately reacts, saying that's way too many to handle. Nirvana Flame stays unbothered and says relax, he's not dumb enough to make them fight all at once. He then moves ahead, jumps onto a tree branch, and pulls out a bow and arrows from his storage. As he gets ready, he thinks to himself that it's time to show what real god-tier archery skills actually looks like. Nirvana Flame raises his 3-shot hand crossbow straight out of a cracked legend build and instantly lets it rip at 3 separate locations with absolutely disgusting precision. Boiling Water Dumpling watches that and gets visibly nervous, already doubting reality, while the shield warriors are also standing there stunned, mentally buffering, because if those arrows trigger the tree demons, the whole squad is basically done for. Nirvana Flame drops onto the ground clean and instantly starts boss demon mode, ordering Boiled Water to go to the 3 positions. Principal 2 arrows hit separate zones and instantly start dragging tree demons toward those spots. The 3rd arrow straight up deletes a tree demon's chill, tagging it clean, shaving HP by 1 and instantly pulling aggro because it got personally disrespected. Yulan is completely frozen. That level of skill using a 3-shot crossbow to split aggro across 3 zones. That's not gameplay, that's myth-tier mechanics. She turns to Yahello like, where did you even find this cracked NPC? Because 18 tree demons that close together should have been a wipe waiting to happen. Even a single alert should have chained the whole forest. Yahello is now fully shook because the guy she pitied is actually built different. The squad sees the opening and pushes forward while Boiled Water holds the line, a literal wall DLC character at this point. Nirvana Flame calls out again, ordering them around because he's the boss. Everyone splits up in a coordinated speedrun. The tree demon gets mad at Boiled Water, but he stands firm. Realizing mid-fight that Nirvana Flame's advice actually hits, Yulan shouts for him to hold on while the rest finish their side. The group collapses on the remaining tree demon like a coordinated gang, and with one final hit, it gets obliterated, splitting and dropping loot. Yulan gets excited, followed by the whole gang because it is a lot more loot than normal monsters. Yahello looks at Nirvana Flame because the bastard just speedran reality itself and asks how he did that. Nirvana Flame just casually flexes he promised to carry them through the expert dungeon. Then he immediately sets the tone. Same method, full clear strat. They repeat the cycle: arrow pulls, controlled aggro splits, isolated kills. 20 minutes later, the entire tree demon forest section is wiped clean. The squad collects loot and takes a breather while realizing they basically just got carried through a nightmare zone. Then a shadow appears behind them and Nirvana Flame notices instantly, because bro has awareness hacks built in. He stands and says this is just the beginning, and the real rewards are deeper in. After resting, they move forward and hit a fork. Nirvana Flame says west. Yulan immediately questions it, saying east should be right because west is supposedly a dead end. Nirvana Flame just shuts it down calmly while internally clocking a hidden storyline route no one else has, apparently found in the entire system. They head west anyway. Deeper in the forest, a strange sound echoes through the trees. Yulan wonders if it's a flute. Nirvana Flame instantly locks in mentally. He's found it. The tree demon shepherd Ian Pat, guardian of the forest, tied to an ancient balance that got corrupted when dark elves entered and broke everything, triggering chaos in the Empire's intervention storyline. The squad soon meets an old man. He warns them the forest is lethal and night power spikes for tree demons. Nirvana Flame respectfully says they came specifically to fix it and purge the corruption. The shepherd gets emotional and angry, blaming underground creatures and saying they stole his flute and caused everything. Yulan realizes this is a hidden storyline NPC activation and is fully shocked at how Nirvana Flame even found him. Tang Yao is also confused at how cracked Nirvana Flame has become. Nirvana Flame understands the trigger condition and plays along, confirming awareness of the hidden threats to push the narrative forward. The shepherd immediately reacts, revealing the dark elves stole his flute and handing over a special item, Dust of Appearance, which reveals hidden enemies in a radius for a short time. System pops, dungeon special item acquired. Nirvana Flame instantly takes control again, finds a rope and glides downwards, prompting his gang to do the same. Yulan questions if he can actually locate the dark elves. Nirvana Flame replies with full confidence. They reach a cave. He stops and says this is the spot. They're cornering the 2 dark elves. Yahello asks how he knows, and Nirvana Flame basically exposes the truth. They've been shadowing the group since the beginning. Everyone looks around in shock. Nirvana Flame glances at the darkness and calmly drops the final line. They're already here. Nirvana Flame clocks those 2 dark elves and instantly knows they're low-key scaredy cats. Bro tells the squad they have to delete both of them in one clean combo, or those sneaky NPCs are gonna dip faster than people after seeing group project work. Meanwhile, the dark elves stay hidden in the shadows, stalking the squad from behind as everyone pushes deeper into the cave. The second the timing looks chef's kiss. Nirvana Flame yeets the Dust of Appearance he got from Shepherd. Bro smirks because the bait actually works. The dust spreads everywhere and exposes the hidden elves in 4K. The 2 elves instantly panic and try to make a run for it, but Boiled Water and Tang Yao are already camping the exit. One elf lunges at Tang Yao with razor-sharp claws, but Boiled Water says not today, and blocks the hit with his shield. At the same time, Tang Yao charges a fireball in his hand and absolutely lobs it into the elf's face. The poor dude lets out a painful screech after getting folded. Yulin rushes in with the rest of the squad because standing around is not on today's agenda. Everyone jumps the elves together like they're overdue for karma. The second elf still tries to throw hands, but Nirvana Flame enters the chat. Bro casually sidesteps the attack because to him, the elf is swinging in slow motion, then lands Vital Strike straight across its neck for disgusting damage. The squad keeps chaining attacks one after another until Yulan secures the final hit. Both elves get absolutely sent back to the lobby. Something drops onto the ground. Nirvana Flame spots it immediately. Finally, Bro gets exactly what he comes for. He picks it up with the biggest grin because with this flute, clearing the tree demon forest is basically free real estate. Right then, Yao Yao notices something else and calls everyone over. Nirvana Flame walks over, picks it up, and realizes it's a letter. The letter says the Dark Elf Aslan, a brave warrior, has been providing intel for the tribe. The Drow tribe plans to launch a counterattack on Hilton Fortress, and once that happens, Bro is heading back to the battlefield. Another notification pops up. System notification tells them to deliver the secret letter to Warlord Kavarat and warn him about the Drow tribe's counterattack. Yao Yao stares at the letter looking completely lost because those words might as well be ancient alien text. Nirvana Flame explains it's part of a branching storyline, and they can hand it in after clearing the tree demon forest and returning to the city. Boiled Water is hyped because nobody expects free side quests with bonus loot. Boiling Water Dumplings is already wondering how cracked the reward is going to be. Nirvana Flame walks over and tosses the flute straight to Boiled Water. Since he's the team's main tank, he deserves it. Boiled Water catches it and instantly loses his mind. Nirvana Flame tells everyone it's time to keep moving. The whole squad is absolutely locked in and marches forward. As Tang Yao walks, Bro can't help but smile. At first, everyone doubted Neon, the professional haters they are, but now they're switching sides faster than internet trends. Bro stays collecting W's. Soon, battle noises echo across the forest again. The squad surrounds another tree demon and jumps it from every angle. After eating hit after hit, the monster finally faceplants. Boiled Water picks up the loot and almost drops it from excitement. Bro finds a bronze-grade buckler with 10% bonus defense. Every shield he farmed before suddenly looks like Temu merchandise. Later, when everyone is eating good, Yulan looks at Nirvana Flame and admits something. She knows it's kinda shameless to ask since they only got this gear because of him, but she'd really like to buy the buckler. Deep down, she knows this shield could let their team survive higher-level dungeons even without Nirvana Flame carrying everyone on his back. Nirvana Flame rubs his chin and thinks for a second. Bro only wants thief gear and the Featherfall jewel from the Tree Demon King anyway. Everything else is getting sold regardless, so he tells Yulan to just take it. Yao Yao feels low-key guilty because the squad keeps benefiting from Nirvana Flame's hard carry. She apologizes and thanks him anyway. Out of nowhere, thick vines explode from the ground. More vines keep bursting up in front of the squad because the forest suddenly chose violence. Nirvana Flame immediately warns everyone. He slices through several vines with clean swings before narrowing his eyes. Bro instantly realizes the real menace has arrived. He orders everyone to get into formation. Shield warriors move to the front and wait for his signal. This time, the tension is worth the hype since they are facing the Tree King. The Tree Demon King roars with pure rage, calling the humans absolute clowns for invading its territory. Then it swings its gigantic arms straight at Nirvana Flame. Bro instantly hops backward and dodges the attack without breaking a sweat. Another swing comes flying in, but he ducks low and avoids it again. Yulan can barely process what she's seeing. A level 2 thief is casually styling on a level 4 lower-grade boss. Nirvana Flame dodges another hit before calling Boiled Water forward. He orders every melee class to stay behind the tank while warning the mages not to come within 30 yards of the boss unless they want to become fertilizer. Boiled Water charges in and shield bashes the Tree Demon King. Bro instantly realizes the boss has defense thicker than plot armor. Nirvana Flame immediately gives the next command. The mages open fire. Standing safely over 30 yards away, they unleash their strongest spells one after another, dumping every ounce of magic into the Tree Demon King while staying completely outside its danger zone. While everyone holds their positions, a massive explosion pops off, and the Tree Demon King's HP starts getting absolutely cooked. Smoke blankets the whole area after the boss drops the world's biggest smoke bomb. Completely tilted, the Tree Demon King swings its massive arm at Boiled Water. Bro tanks the hit with his shield, but that smack is built different. His HP instantly drops by 78. Nirvana Flame immediately calls for Boiled Water to use the flute. Still holding his shield, Boiled Water activates flute. The flute sound echoes through the battlefield, and the Tree Demon King gets distracted for a second. Bro's attention span is actually cooked. Nirvana Flame instantly capitalizes and orders the mages to spam fire element spells only. No ice spells because the boss has crazy resistance to ice. Tang Yao smirks as flames gather in his hand. Fire magic is literally his comfort zone. Bro has been waiting for this moment. Nirvana Flame then turns toward another teammate and asks if she's a priest and asks whether she has the cleansing spell. She confirms. Nirvana Flame points toward Boiled Water and tells her to keep her eyes locked on him. The boss is about to cast Fear, and if boiled water gets crowd controlled, she has to cleanse him immediately. Nirvana Flame gives her a reassuring smile and tells her not to stress. Just stay chill. He'll call the timing, and she only has to cast the spell the second he says so. A few moments later, the Tree Demon King unleashes a powerful fear spell. Boiled water gets hit and his movements immediately become shaky as panic kicks in. The instant it happens, Nirvana Flame calls for the cleanse. The priest reacts instantly and removes the debuff in one clean cast. Absolute frame perfect timing. Zero lag. Bro couldn't have scripted it better. The priest smiles in relief. The play actually works. The entire team surrounds the boss and starts jumping it from every direction. The mages keep casting. The boss suddenly lets out a furious roar. Its eyes begin glowing, and its dark aura becomes even more cursed. Nirvana Flame immediately warns everyone to brace themselves because the boss is entering its enrage phase. Yulan grits her teeth. She never even knew this boss had a rage phase. That's actually toxic game design. The Treant King starts hard targeting boiled water with non-stop attacks. Nirvana Flame rushes over and orders boiled water to switch into defensive stance while telling the priests to chug mana potions and spam heals. The priests immediately gulp their mana potions and begin healing non-stop. Even behind his shield, boiled water's HP still gets folded. Bro says the damage is way too insane and admits he can't keep this up forever. Thankfully, the non-stop healing barely keeps him alive. Getting his confidence back, he grips his shield with both hands and blocks another attack. He admits that without those heals and flute, he would have been sent back to spawn ages ago. He quickly drinks a health potion and finally realizes why Nirvana Flame forced everyone to stock up before entering. Bro planned the whole grocery list. The Treant King raises one arm and forms a gigantic hammer before slamming it into the ground. The entire battlefield shakes violently and everyone feels the impact. At that exact moment, Nirvana Flame dashes forward. He tells everyone the boss is almost done and orders the whole squad to full send every attack. Boiled Water instantly charges in with Heroic Strike while Yulan follows with Holy Light Slash. The rest of the squad dumps every strongest skill they've got. Seeing the opening, Nirvana Flame hurls his blade with full force. The weapon slams straight into the Tree Demon King's face. Without wasting even a second, he follows up with Vital Strike, leaps forward and drives the blade even deeper. Green liquid sprays out as Nirvana Flame flips backward. A moment later, the Treant King's body starts trembling. Then it completely collapses and its body splits apart. The whole team just stands there in complete disbelief. Yahello smiles, still processing everything. She never expected their party to clear an expert-level dungeon. The priest admits it's all because of Nirvana Flame's shot calling. Without his commands, she would have completely fumbled under pressure. Boiled Water laughs and admits he never imagines himself tanking an expert-level boss. Suddenly, everyone starts leveling up one after another. Nirvana Flame casually walks over to the loot pile. He picks it up with a satisfied smile. The Featherfall Jewel. The entire grind is literally for this one drop. Bro finally secures the loot. The RNG gods stop trolling for once. Nirvana Flame levels up too. Bro is low-key hyped and shook at the same time, realizing he also hits level 3. Big W energy. A system notification pops up. They cleared the dungeon and received 1200 team glory. Boiled Water Shield is absolutely losing it after seeing the reward. Bro can't believe the squad actually bags 1200 team glory points in one run. Nirvana Flame tells Yahello and the squad to split the remaining loot however they want because he isn't about to loot Goblin the party. Bro says the only thing left is heading to Carol City to turn in the quest. The second everyone hears that, the squad gets even more hyped. Someone instantly remembers there's still a side quest reward waiting too. Yulan thanks Nirvana Flame with genuine gratitude, admitting there isn't even a proper way to repay someone who carries this hard. The squad reaches the teleportation point in Carol City together. Meanwhile, Chenbo is hiding nearby, the biggest salty spectator ever. The moment he sees everyone come back after leveling up, his mood absolutely crashes. Bro is grinding hatred instead of EXP. He clenches his teeth, swearing he'll never forget the humiliation Nirvana Flame serves him. The scene switches to the Carol City military camp. Nirvana Flame and the squad walk over to Warlord Kavarat, who stands there with his sword looking all NPC important. Nirvana Flame respectfully reports that the squad captured 2 Dark Elves in Treant Forest and gathered intelligence about Hilton Fortress. After reading the report, Kavarat looks genuinely surprised before smiling. Bro realizes this random adventurer just speedran military intel better than half his army. He praises Nirvana Flame and prepares a reward. Another system notification appears. Nirvana Flame is absolutely eating. Bro never expects to get 2 strength plus a whole skill book. This hidden quest is straight up printing value. After wrapping everything up, Nirvana Flame tells Yahello it's time to bounce. She wonders what the next move is, and his answer is simple. More monster grinding. More leveling. At the same time, he realizes that now he owns the Featherfall Jewel. He can finally challenge the elite monster Lion King Ko. Bro is about to test fate for real. Yahello happily waves goodbye and promises to mail his share after selling the gear. Out of nowhere, Tang Yao grabs Nirvana Flame's leg after one good dungeon run. Bro is completely convinced and desperately begs Nirvana Flame to teach him how to play an arcane mage, because clearly this man is the walking strategy guide. Nirvana Flame gets a little awkward but agrees first. saying they should grab some better gear before the lessons start. A few minutes later, both of them reach the blacksmith. Nirvana Flame upgrades his loadout. After equipping everything, Bro immediately feels way stronger. Tang Yao is watching the glow up like he just witnessed someone's entire stat sheet hit puberty. Nirvana Flame tells him they're heading to Rhine Hills to grind levels, and that sends Tang Yao bouncing up and down so much that he would put a toddler to shame. At Rhine Hills, lightning flashes across the sky. Nirvana Flame explains that the caves are packed with bat monsters that drop bat teeth. He gives Tang Yao exactly 1 hour to see how many he can farm. His friend waves his hand and rushes straight into the cave. The first bat flies over and Bro instantly cooks it with fire magic. 1 bat tooth secured already. Outside the cave, Nirvana Flame watches the performance before deciding there's no way he's just standing around as decorative furniture. He dives into the cave too, slicing through bat monsters one after another while collecting bat teeth. After some time passes, Nirvana Flame realizes half an hour is already gone and starts wondering how Tang Yao is doing. Suddenly, his friend's panicked voice blasts through the communicator. Bro is screaming for backup because red name players are blocking him. Nirvana Flame immediately frowns. If his guess is right, they're members of the Radiant Sacred Flame Guild. Without wasting another second, he tells Tang Yao to hide because he's already on the way. Tang Yao keeps running while explaining that the terrain around Rhine Hills is confusing enough to kite them forever, so they won't catch him anytime soon. Nirvana Flame sprints even faster while asking how this whole mess even started. The blondie explains between breaths that he was just peacefully farming bats before accidentally discovering a level 3 leader monster. He planned to call Nirvana Flame over so they could fight it together. Instead, the loot goblins with criminal records pulled up first. Nirvana Flame stays calm and tells Tang Yao to keep dragging them around in circles because he's about to entertain their entire squad personally. Soon, Nirvana Flame reaches the top of a cliff and looks down. Just as expected, someone is camping the entrance. On the other side, a level 3 elemental mage named Azure Strike asks why the squad still hasn't caught one tiny newbie. One swordsman confidently says their prey isn't escaping anyway before roasting him for looking broke. From above, Nirvana Flame smirks because red name players drop every piece of equipment when they die. Nirvana Flame activates stealth and silently jumps off the cliff. Still, he stays cautious. Anyone bold enough to camp people while already carrying red names definitely isn't trash. Using stealth, he quietly sneaks behind the squad. Suddenly, Azure Strike spins around. His eyes narrow the second he spots Nirvana Flame charging in with a blade. He instantly jumps backward and reveals he already expected this. With a smug grin, he casts Violent Fire Ring before basically clowning Nirvana Flame for eyeing his gear, questioning whether Bro even has enough HP left to claim it. One teammate immediately realizes they're dealing with a thief and orders everyone to jump him. Nirvana Flame instantly pops a speed scroll. Nirvana Flame eats a fire spell to the face, and his HP drops by 35. Bro instantly flips into self-defense mode. The flames disappear, and Nirvana Flame grips his dagger before absolutely zooming forward. Azure Strike gets jump-scared when Nirvana Flame appears right in front of him out of nowhere. Bro is mentally blue-screening. This dude literally tanked a ring of fire just to close the distance. Without wasting a single frame, Nirvana Flame drops Assassinate, driving the dagger straight into the man's stomach. Bro's health bar starts filing for bankruptcy. Azure Strike instantly hops backward, raises his staff, and starts channeling Scorching Pyroblast to create some breathing room. At the same time, one of his underlings launches into the air with a sword wrapped in flames. Nirvana Flame doesn't even flinch. He casually turns around and blocks the flaming blade with his dagger like it's just another Tuesday. Another subordinate sneaks in from the side and lands a cheap shot, shaving 13 HP off Nirvana Flame. Peak NPC behavior. From the backline, the other minion grins and fires off Holy Light, trying to farm free damage. Nirvana Flame couldn't care less. He bats the flaming sword aside and instantly dashes back toward Azure Strike. The attacker swings at nothing except premium dirt. While sprinting, Nirvana Flame does the math mid-run. He still has plenty of time to bully the mage before the spell even exists. Azure Strike is still busy channeling, but Nirvana Flame reaches him first and buries the dagger into his stomach again. The NPC nearly blacks out. Nirvana Flame keeps the pressure on with zero mercy. Then he lines up a clean neck shot, but Azure Strike barely jumps back in time. Bro completely loses it and starts crashing out, screaming for backup because apparently his teammates are just expensive decorations. Nirvana Flame looks chef's-kiss, but Bro moves so stupidly fast nobody can even keep up. One of them with a massive sword activates charge and lunges straight at Nirvana Flame. Too bad the attack has all the tracking accuracy of a potato. Nirvana Flame slips around it, repositions instantly, then launches into the air. From above, he drops Vital Strike. The blade slices clean across Azure Strike's neck. A system notification appears for defeating the red name player. One of Azure's minion immediately charges over with his flaming blade, hoping to snatch back his boss's inventory. Too late. Nirvana Flame already vacuumed up every single item because he's a loot goblin with zero shame. The fire swordsman goes full rage mode and fires off Linear Strike. It is not even worth stressing over. He instantly activates his movement skill and starts disappearing at top speed. The last two subordinates chase after him as if they actually stand a chance against the fastest man alive. Another attack lands from behind, taking another 16 HP off Nirvana Flame. He barely glances back and just keeps running, wrapping himself with combat bandage. The mage watching from afar suddenly realizes what's happening and starts panicking. Nirvana Flame is literally healing mid-chase. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame finishes healing. His HP is completely full again, and every cooldown is ready. Bro just got a factory reset, so he plants his foot, spins around and charges straight back at the warrior with the giant blade. The warrior freezes for a split second before roaring and swinging his enormous flaming sword with everything he's got. Nirvana Flame casually jumps onto the flat of the blade itself, and in one smooth motion, he activates Vital Strike and slices across the warrior's neck. Before the poor guy can even load his next thought, Nirvana Flame steps onto his back and drives the dagger in with Assassinate. The warrior grits his teeth and starts flailing his sword everywhere while flames explode around him, barely forcing Nirvana Flame backward. But our guy casually swaps weapons, pulls out the triple arrow bow mechanism and fires. Of course, every single one lands. The warrior gets shoved back even farther. His face instantly loses all color when reality finally hits. Bro is literally one tap from donating his entire inventory. He rips the arrows out and immediately turns tail. Survival instincts finally updated. Nirvana Flame watches for 1 second before casually sprinting after him. The warrior's eyes go full horror mode, because bro knows it's wraps. Before he can escape, Nirvana Flame slices straight across his neck. Instant loot pinata. Nirvana Flame calmly scoops everything up like he's collecting daily login rewards and turns toward the final minion, the mage. The mage trembles so hard he practically vibrates. Fear is written all over his face. Nirvana Flame slowly walks forward. A dark, oppressive aura seems to rise behind him. A raid boss entering phase 2. With a faint blue glow flickering in his eyes, Nirvana Flame smirks, "Dup oe cognin lights." There. Now it's the mage's turn to experience the consequences. A loud boom echoes through the area. Azure Strike's minion get absolutely folded, dropping every single item like a loot piñata. Nirvana Flame instantly checks the drip he just yoinked. Nirvana Flame realizes it really is the Fire Chaser set. The Fire Chaser is a bronze grade set, literally perfect for Tang Yao, since bro spams fire magic 24/7. The rest of the gear is easy cash, so it just gets sold. Nirvana Flame contacts Tang Yao and asks for his location. Tang Yao sends over his coordinates, saying he's hiding inside a cave full of level 5 monsters, and hasn't dared to leave. Nirvana Flame sends him pictures of the Fire Chaser set, and the moment Tang Yao sees the screenshots, bro's jaw almost uninstalls itself. He wonders where Nirvana Flame even got something this cracked. Nirvana Flame casually explains the whole thing and gifts it to his friend. Tang Yao is absolutely losing it. Bro starts questioning reality. He laughs, just won the lottery. Even if he gets deleted today, this alone makes everything worth it. Standing on higher ground, Tang Yao looks down the mountain. He notices movement in the distance and decides a few more victims are about to catch the premium respawn package. Azure's 6 minions move carefully while checking every corner. One of them suddenly opens his system window and immediately freezes. Boss Azure is dead. The entire squad blue screens. One of them refuses to believe it. Boss Diane is stacked, rocking the Fire Chaser set. Barely anyone should be capable of beating him. Another agrees. Boss Diane's magic damage is easily top 10 in the guild, and his skills absolutely cook. Plus, bro is a red name. If he dies, before he even finishes speaking, the armored man confirms everyone's worst nightmare. Everything dropped. The squad collectively takes emotional damage and start asking about the culprit. When they hear that it was not a group but one thief, the squad freezes again. Another reminds everyone Boss Diane has 2 teammates with him. All 3 of them got wiped by one thief, a level 3 thief. Everyone's brains officially stop buffering. One of them wonders if reality is bugged. Another covers his face in disbelief. One of DK's shield warriors firmly confirms there isn't any mistake. Boss DK personally verified everything, and the culprit is Nirvana Flame, most likely the teammate of that arcane mage. As they continue walking, the shield warrior reveals Radiant Sacred Flame has already issued an internal kill order. Whoever kills Nirvana Flame even once earns 5 silver coins. Hidden high inside a tree, Nirvana Flame listens to every word. 5 silver coins. Bro can't help smirking. He did not expect his head to be worth that much already. Unactivating stealth, he quietly tails them from behind. These clowns really gang up on solo players by hiding behind guild numbers. Pathetic. They're about to find out what happens when a solo player crashes out. Suddenly, a loud noise erupts behind the trees, and the minions nervously wonder if it's that thief. Instead, a monster appears. Horned Deer Leader. Leader grade monster. Level 5. The shield warrior raises his shield and decides they might as well farm the Horned Deer Leader first, since neither the arcane mage nor the thief is showing up anytime soon. Watching everything unfold, Nirvana Flame's eyes light up. Still hidden in stealth, he realizes this is literally free content. The minions and the Horned Deer Leader charge at each other. The shield warrior intercepts it head-on and blocks the impact. Meanwhile, the swordsmen repeatedly slice into the beast. The mages fire spells from the backline, landing direct hits. The Horned Deer Leader's HP keeps falling. Both mages start feeling themselves way too much. Bro says they'll hunt the Horned Deer Leader in under 30 seconds. Completely tunnel vision on the monster. None of them notices Nirvana Flame sneaking right behind them. Silently, he rushes forward with his dagger ready. One clean stab lands straight into the first mage's back. The mage stumbles in complete shock. Before Bro can even process the lag spike, Nirvana Flame stabs the other mage, driving the dagger even deeper. Nirvana Flame keeps swinging without giving him a single frame of breathing room. The mage panics and reaches for a healing potion. Too slow, Nirvana Flame slices it apart before it even gets used. One final stab pierces straight through the mage's chest. Bro manages one last confused thought before vanishing into pixels. Nirvana Flame casually pulls his dagger back. The second mage is still standing there looking completely lost, trying to figure out where everybody disappears. Then another dagger suddenly buries itself into his back. He grits his teeth, spins around, and finally spots Nirvana Flame. Without wasting a second, he casts Holy Light. The spell lands directly on Nirvana Flame, knocking down his HP too. Meanwhile, the Shield Warrior keeps tanking the Horn Deer leader, blocking every attack with his shield, but something starts feeling off. Then he notices a flash of Holy Light in the distance, and his face immediately changes. Realizing that the annoying thief is back, one swordsman nervously asks what the plan is because they're getting jumped from both sides while the Horn Deer leader is still glued to them with aggro. Bro's squad is getting cooked from every possible angle. The Shield Warrior immediately makes the call. Everyone focuses all damage on bursting down the Horn Deer leader first. After that, they'll turn around and jump the thief. The Shield Warrior from the Radiant Sacred Flame Guild stands 10 toes down, locking his shield against the Horn Deer leader. Both are straight up locked in an ego battle. Out of nowhere, one swordsman zooms in and slices straight across the beast's neck. It lets out the most tragic NPC scream ever as blood spills from its mouth. A few seconds later, Bro faceplants, HP hits 0, and it's GG. Meanwhile, on the other side, Nirvana Flame finishes deleting the second mage from existence. While scooping up the Black Friday loot, he glances up and spots the last 3 enemies. The remaining Radiant Sacred Flame Guild members look completely cooked, their HP bars hanging on by pure delusion. Nirvana Flame narrows his eyes. Their HP is dangerously low, but 3 melee classes stacked together are still annoying to deal with. The exhausted Shield Warrior points out that 5 of their members have already been packed up by this loot goblin, and backup is already on the way. The guild's main squad is about to pull up. Nirvana Flame cannot believe it is literally a 3v1, yet these dudes are still too scared to push. If they are just going to stand around like NPCs, he sees no reason to stay. The Shield Warrior refuses to take the bait. The whole squad already knows Nirvana Flame is trying to split them apart and farm them one by one. As long as they keep glued to each other, he is not touching anybody. Nirvana Flame immediately figures out the game plan. These scared clowns are just stalling until reinforcements arrive. Without another word, he casually turns around, waves a hand, and proceeds to leaving. The second he begins retreating, the Radiant Sacred Flame members suddenly remember they have legs and start sprinting after him. They panic, realizing their target is dipping. The Shield Warrior notices the backup squad finally arriving and orders everyone to pin Nirvana Flame down. The reinforcements rush into the area at full speed. Too bad. By the time they reach the battlefield, Nirvana Flame has already disappeared like their win streak. Confusion spreads as everyone looks around, wondering where he vanished. They scatter across the area, desperately searching and refusing to let the so-called rat escape. Too late. Nirvana Flame has already activated stealth and glided far beyond their reach. He leaps onto a high cliff, reaches the top, and looks back with the biggest smug grin imaginable. Knowing this map better than anybody else, he lets the Radiant Sacred Flame bozos waste their stamina running laps while he casually heads off to check on Tang Yao. Meanwhile, Tang Yao hides inside a corner of the rock spider cave, avoiding monsters. The hiding spot is so cursed that the Radiant Sacred Flame squad would never think to search there. But when Nirvana Flame suddenly materializes right in front of him, Tang Yao almost jumps out of his own skin. Bro is completely baffled by how Nirvana Flame sneaked past an entire guild without getting spotted. The answer is painfully simple. Stealth carries. Nirvana Flame immediately hands over a full equipment set. Tang Yao's eyes practically turn into loot icons after recognizing the Fire Chaser set. Nirvana Flame explains that the gear dropped from Azure Strike of the Radiant Sacred Flame Guild and fits Tang Yao's build perfectly. There is no time to waste. The dude equips the entire set at lightning speed. Looking happier than a kid with candy, Nirvana Flame gives an approving nod. He leads the way, remembering that a silver chest should be hidden somewhere inside the cave. With Tang Yao rocking the full Fire Chaser set, their combined DPS should absolutely melt anything standing in their way. Without hesitation, Nirvana Flame suddenly full speeds deeper into the cave, leaving Tang Yao completely confused. Nirvana Flame pulls out his triple crossbow and unleashes a volley at the approaching spiders. The arrows smack the level 5 rock spiders, chunking their HP. At the same time, Tang Yao gathers arcane flames and launches them forward. The fire crashes into the spiders, dealing absolutely disgusting damage. The rock spiders instantly become tilted beyond belief. Tang Yao stares at his own hands in disbelief. He cannot believe he is hitting this hard against monsters 2 levels above him. The Fire Chaser set is actually built different. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame activates Assassinate, blinks straight to one rock spider and buries his dagger into its head. Its HP completely evaporates. Instead of standing around admiring the damage numbers, Tang Yao immediately follows up with another wave of flames. He can barely believe they are casually farming mobs 2 levels above their own. Nirvana Flame keeps the momentum rolling. The duo absolutely farms the cave. Nirvana Flame controls aggro with fast dagger combos, while Tang Gao sits safely in the backline, raining down fire spells that roast every spider dumb enough to get close. One after another, the monsters flop. As they venture deeper into the cave, Tang Gao suddenly notices that the silver chest is actually there. Nirvana Flame casually mentions spotting it while making his way through the cave earlier. The excitement instantly crashes into reality, since neither of them has the lock-picking skill. There has to be god-tier loot sitting inside, but opening it is the real problem. Before they can figure anything out, a massive spider crawls into view. Nirvana Flame stays completely unfazed. The developers of Conviction usually hide the key somewhere close to treasure chests, so there is no reason to panic. Right as that thought settles, the giant spider charges at full speed. Rock Spider Chieftain. Chieftain rank, level 5. The Rock Spider Chieftain unleashes a nightmare screech that could make anybody uninstall on the spot. Tentayo immediately realizes they are facing a level 5 Chieftain boss and starts stressing. Nirvana Flame, meanwhile, is already cooking up the easiest solution. They are simply going to nuke it. He activates stealth and rushes forward while signaling Tang Yao to stay at least 20 yards away, hold the choke point, and avoid dragging the boss far enough to aggro the rest of the cave. Tang Yao follows the plan perfectly as the chieftain chases after him. At the perfect moment, he turns around and launches a massive arcane fireball. The attack slams directly into the Rock Spider Chieftain, shaving off a chunk of its HP. Nirvana Flame immediately recognizes the massive elemental advantage. Fire magic absolutely bullies this boss, making the fight far more manageable than it looks. The boss is strong, but with their current DPS, it is definitely getting packed. Field control stays on lock while Tang Yao handles the DPS carry. Tang Yao gathers flames in his hand, looking locked in instead of NPC-coded. Nirvana Flame launches forward, pops a stun, and slams the spider right in the head. Its HP drops by 10. Now is the window. He instantly backflips away as the giant spider absolutely crashes out, roaring like it just got ratioed. From the back line, Tang Yao yeets an arcane fireball. Direct hit. Clean 20 damage. But the flames disappear, and the spider instantly beats the burning debuff allegations. Nirvana drops back to the ground, but the spider wastes 0 time and dives him with its massive legs. Critical hit. Nirvana Flame gets folded onto the floor as his HP nosedives to 78. Without panicking, he wraps a combat bandage around himself while telling Tang Yao to beware of earth spikes unless he feel like becoming free kebab. Tang Yao's eyes go wide as spikes suddenly explode from beneath him. Bro barely survives by jumping backward at the last possible second. After recovering, Nirvana Flame jumps right back into the fight. Everything depends on Tang Yao's DPS, while Nirvana Flame keeps the boss busy. Tang Yao immediately calls timeout. Mana first. He chugs a low-level instant mana recovery potion before raising his staff again, as fire mana floods around him. His mana bar finally hits full. Another arcane fireball blasts toward the Rock Spider Chieftain. The spell connects and the explosion engulfs the boss, setting the entire monster on fire. While the spider glitches around in pain, Nirvana Flame instantly capitalizes. He leaps high and drives his dagger into the boss's head with a vital strike. The spider lets out one final scream before flopping over. GG. Tang Yao just stands there, completely stunned. Bro actually can't believe the raid boss is deleted. His legs give up and he collapses onto the ground, breathing like he just finished 10 marathons. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame casually collects. Your loot include 2 skill books and a silver key that can be used 3 times to open chests. Nirvana Flame casually tosses 1 skill book to Tang Yao with a smile. Absolute jackpot. Skyfall is one of the nastiest AoE skills in the early game, and it still farms mobs like crazy even through the mid and late game. Tang Yao freezes. Bro actually gets this. Nirvana Flame simply shrugs. It's solid, but compared to other books out there, it still kinda gets diffed. Tang Yao stares at the book, looking completely confused because he never heard of the skill books Nirvana is talking about. Bro starts buffering. Nirvana Flame just smiles. Future DLC knowledge. Then he immediately sprints back toward the silver chest. Loot comes first. Always. After reaching it, he uses the silver key. The chest clicks open. Inside, Nirvana Flame's eyes instantly light up. Webweaver's ring. Actual peak loot. Tang Yao rubs his chin. To him, it looks like bargain bin garbage. Bro cannot see the vision. Nirvana Flame just grins. For thieves, this ring is straight up a divine artifact. Then he asks if Skyfall is already learned. Tang Yao nods. Already done. Perfect time to actually use it, because ahead of them an entire swarm of rock spiders comes charging over. Nirvana Flame volunteers for aggro duty, while Tang Yao starts chanting. With that settled, Nirvana Flame zigzags through the battlefield, juking spiders left and right until every angry bug is chasing him instead. Meanwhile, Tang Yao watches the massive swarm approaching, and Bro instantly regrets every life decision. His chant feels longer than an unskippable cutscene. As the spell continues, a gigantic fireball forms above his hands. The flames burn brighter and brighter until even his eyes glow with blazing fire mana. The massive spell crashes into the rock spider swarm. Any spider still breathing immediately catches the deluxe BBQ package. Nirvana Flame rushes in right afterward and cleans up every survivor with surgical dagger strikes. He gives Tang Yao a quick nod. Huge W. Tang Yao just stares at the scorched battlefield. Bro cannot process reality. He actually cast that absurd magic really came from him. Nirvana Flame lands beside him and lightly taps his shoulder. No more zoning out. The dungeon isn't finished yet. Tang Yao scratches his head awkwardly. Small problem. His mana bar is beyond cooked. Every instant mana potion is already gone too. Nirvana Flame pauses and finally remembers that Skyfall at Tang Yao's level completely nukes his mana pool. Another thought suddenly clicks. Deep inside the rock spider cave waits one of the most important items in the entire game. Tang Yao hesitantly suggests heading somewhere safe first. Otherwise, he'd just become dead weight. Nirvana Flame agrees. He can also teach Tang Yao some arcane mage techniques while they're at it. After walking for a while, they reach a safe area. Tang Yao activates a Return City scroll. Before leaving, he smiles. What starts as bad luck turns into the biggest Hardew imaginable. Nirvana Flame smiles back, they're brothers. Simple as that. As rain picks up outside the cave, Tang Yao teleports back to the city. Nirvana Flame remains alone. Without hesitation, he heads deeper into the cave as rain drips from his armor. One memory keeps replaying. Hidden deep inside this cave lies one volume of the Chapter of Order. Legend says both the Chapter of Order and the Chapter of Chaos are lost holy relics belonging to the God of Order. Odds. They've existed throughout Conviction for 500 to 600 years. Nobody truly knows where they come from. Nobody even knows who wrote them. Anyone who gathers every Chapter of Order can restore divine order itself. The reward is immense divine power. That person becomes the supreme leader of every Temple of Light, the Great Pope. Meanwhile, anyone who gathers every Chapter of Chaos gains the power of chaos and bloodlust, harvesting holy blood until becoming the terrifying Dark God King. Both collections are straight-up legendary tier. Conviction only recently enters open beta. The Greenland Empire and Saturn Empire have only unlocked the first expansion pack, Buried History. The first volume of the Chapter of Order contains justice, kindness, courage, wisdom, fairness, and freedom. Every chapter holds absurd power. Almost everyone who obtained one instantly started climbing the leaderboard like they were using the cheat codes. In Nirvana Flame's previous life, 3 guild masters built their super guilds entirely around the Chapter of Order. Each one became a living legend, soloing 100 enemies and creating myth after myth. Nirvana Flame's eyes sharpen. Right now, he's probably the only player in the entire game who knows every single one of their locations. Maybe this time he can become the legend instead. In his past life, the holder of the Chapter of Justice was the guild leader of Angel Corps, an elf demon hunter called Soaring Angel. When hundreds of enemies pulled up thinking they were about to farm free loot, he casually summoned 16 knights and absolutely ratioed the enemy's elite squad by himself. The holder of the Chapter of Wisdom was the guild leader of the Holy Judgment Guild, the arcane mage known as the Flame Sage Killer. During the undead invasion, Bro dropped Holy Radiance Judgment, instantly purifying over 300 necromancers in one cast. 300. The holder of the Chapter of Courage was the guild leader of the Holy Roman Empire, the berserker Sleepy Fox. During the Great Guild War, Bro said teamwork is optional and dives solo into the enemy army. Every 10 steps, another player catch the respawn express. And now, buried somewhere in this place lies the Chapter of Courage. Just thinking about it sends Nirvana Flame's hype through the roof. He rushes forward before suddenly stopping in front of several rock spiders. Their goofy cave camping squad blocks the way, but something else catches his attention. Water. Looking ahead, 3 rock spider leaders completely seal the path without wasting a second. Nirvana Flame activates stealth. Using a repelling pearl, he dives straight into the water. As he swims deeper, he remembers hearing about a hidden treasure chest in this place. Back in his previous life, nobody discovered it until mid-game, and the forums completely lost their minds. Finally, a treasure chest covered in thick mud rests quietly beneath the water. He stops in front of it. This looks like a gold treasure chest. His eyes narrow. Wait, that emblem belongs to the pirates who once ruled the Shinya Yen Gisi during the era of co-governance. Bro is actually staring at an ancient pirate chest. This is even rarer than a normal gold treasure chest. Without hesitation, he opens it. Inside rests a single item, Assassin's Precept Dagger, unappraised. Nirvana Flame carefully picks it up. Even in both lifetimes, he has never seen this dagger before. Judging from its design and ornamentation, it is at least gold grade. Even if he never finds the Chapter of Courage today, this trip is already a massive W. The underwater tunnel stretches farther before opening into a hidden chamber. Nirvana Flame steps onto solid ground as water pours off his body. He slowly looks around. Bro is actually speechless. He never imagines a place this beautiful could exist underneath a rock spider cave. As he walks farther in, something immediately steals his attention. A silver book rests quietly among the ruins, almost like it has been waiting. The moment he sees it clearly, his heartbeat spikes. Every page is covered in mysterious text engraved with shimmering tin and silver. It records the forgotten history of the pre-heroic era, jointly written in Coast Giant, Ancient Common, and Draconic. Instead of reading normally, the knowledge force downloads directly into his brain. System notifications begin spamming one after another. He learns the Coast Giant language, the Draconic language, and the ancient common language. He also obtains the Chapter of Courage. A powerful aura erupts around him as the holder of the Chapter of Courage receives the inheritance of a divine soul blessed by the radiance of the gods. Nirvana Flame freezes where he stands. Bro is actually lagging in real life. These effects are completely cracked. No wonder Sleepy Fox slaughtered over 200 players alone after obtaining the Chapter of Courage in his previous life. Still, his expression quickly becomes serious. Grinding monsters and entering PvP just became way riskier. If he dies, the Chapter of Courage drops. Until he synthesizes Volume 1, this legendary treasure is never truly safe. His eyes scan the chamber. Something feels off. An item this broken should absolutely have a terrifying guardian. So why is everything so quiet? Why is obtaining the Chapter of Courage this easy? The answer arrives immediately. The ground beneath him explodes apart. Nirvana Flame barely keeps his footing. Grinding his teeth, he instantly realizes the truth. Taking the Chapter of Courage awakens its guardian. The water exit seals shut as collapsing rocks completely block the escape. Without hesitation, he leaps toward a higher cliff. He has to leave. Raising his hand, he activates the Weaver's Ring, which is basically Spider-Man coded. A spider thread shoots upward, hooking onto the cliff above. He pulls himself upward with everything he has. The instant he reaches the top, a massive explosion erupts below. Nirvana Flame looks back. Towering behind him stands the Guardian of Order. Its entire body burns with raging flames. Blazing spears flicker in both hands. Nirvana activates his newly acquired Transcendent Insight to appraise the beast. Without warning, countless fire spears rain toward him. Nirvana Flame instantly dodges sideways. At his current level, one hit equals instant logout, so he immediately decides to get back to town. Meanwhile, everyone inside Linktown suddenly feels an overwhelming pressure descend. Confused voices erupt everywhere. Suddenly, a regional system announcement echoes across the entire area. A draconic creature has appeared in the southern region of the town. All unrelated players must evacuate immediately. Heavy armored footsteps thunder through the streets as the Holy Crusaders arrive. The NPC army has assembled. Players stare in disbelief. Nobody understands what is happening. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame sprints toward town with everything he has. He glances behind him and his stomach drops. The draconic creature locked onto him. Bro accidentally becomes the world's most wanted player. Without hesitation, he activates a haste scroll, increasing his speed by 20%. He pushes his body to the absolute limit. A massive stream of flames erupts toward him. He barely dodges, but the edge of the attack still clips him, sending his HP crashing down. Gritting his teeth, he keeps running. Just a little farther. He activates the Weaver's Ring once again. Another spider thread shoots forward and hooks onto a nearby tree. Using the momentum, he swings ahead like Fantasy Spider-Man, instantly creating more distance before continuing his escape. Above him, the draconic creature opens its mouth once more. Flames gather into a blazing sphere, preparing another devastating attack. Then an arrow slices through the sky and lands perfectly on target. The draconic beast roars furiously as its attention shifts away. Standing atop nearby high ground is the warlord Nysod, his bow still raised after releasing the shot. The Crusades prepare to pass judgment upon these evil, foolish dragons. An NPC really dropped the hardest entrance line while the dragon caught all the smoke. The draconic creature speeds across the sky at max velocity, looking like a whole flying apocalypse with main character energy. The draconic creature suddenly freezes in midair for dramatic effect. Then it lets out an earth-shaking roar and instantly pops blazing meteor. The players stare upward, completely flabbergasted. Ain't no way this is a skill anyone thinks they can tank. The system alarm immediately blasts across the entire town. Panic spreads faster than bad rumors in world chat. Meanwhile, Warlord Nysod keeps his composure, grips his bow, and orders every soldier to activate the basic protective barrier. A gigantic shield instantly surrounds the tower. The blazing meteors keep slamming into it one after another, making explosions shake the entire area. Somehow, the barrier tanks every single hit. Nysod wastes zero time and throws up another command. Every soldier instantly raises a bow and locks onto the draconic creature. Thousands of arrows fly into the sky. Right before the arrows land, a massive wave of holy magic erupts from below and crashes straight into the creature's chest. The draconic creature absolutely loses it. Its roar shakes the heavens while the remaining magic spells get erased like they never existed. Then it folds its wings and dives straight down at insane speed. The creature slams directly into the barrier, completely deleting it before crashing into the ground below. While almost everyone else loses their minds over the Guardian of Order showing up, a few players stand off to the side, hungry predators waiting for the perfect moment. They are not here to save the town. They are here to let the NPCs do all the dirty work before swooping in to steal the loot. One group belongs to the Radiant Temple Guild. Their leader is Radiant Star. The guy is actually loyal, and Nirvana Flame remembers having connections with him in his previous life. Another group belongs to Drawn Sword, the leader of the Dark Massacre Guild. That dude radiates pure menace and gives off peak professional troublemaker vibes. Nirvana Flame then notices another familiar face, Sleepy Fox, the former holder of courage. Too bad for him, because in this timeline, Nirvana Flame already secured that chapter first. Radiant Star turns toward Drawn Sword with absolute confidence, making it clear that since Radiant Temple is already here, the Dark Massacre Guild should respectfully move aside instead of embarrassing themselves. Drawn Sword only laughs. He reminds everyone that Radiant Temple cleared Black Flame Forest with a pathetic 68% completion rating. Their guild glory barely sits 200 points ahead. Meanwhile, high above, the draconic creature keeps eating non-stop magic attacks. Down below, the players are already ready to throw hands over loot that has not even dropped yet. Greed really unlocks everyone's PvP mode. A massive magical blast finally lands squarely on the draconic creature and sends it crashing into the ground. Its gigantic body bulldozes countless buildings before stopping. Warlord Nisad instantly throws up another protective barrier around himself. The draconic creature charges again but smashes straight into it. Nisad calmly raises his bow and calls upon the glory of the Holy Crusaders while declaring judgment upon the evil dragon race. The dark magic projectile tears straight through the draconic creature's body. Its HP nosedives in an instant. The creature lets out one final roar before collapsing lifelessly. The second everyone realizes the Guardian of Order is out of HP, every ounce of teamwork disappears. Players instantly transform into loot goblins at maximum evolution. The moment someone gives the signal, everyone launches forward at once. Nirvana Flame immediately activates stealth and silently joins the race. One red-haired player stretches out his hand toward an item, already celebrating before securing it. Rookie mistake. A burst of fire smacks him instantly, making him regret every life decision. Sleepy Fox immediately orders everyone to stop the others and dashes forward at insane speed. The red-haired guy trails behind, still coping. Sleepy Fox reaches for the item with complete confidence, convinced victory is already his. Then reality humbles him. A cold voice casually tells him not to even think about it before Immobilizer completely ruins his day. Bro gets crowd-controlled into another dimension. Drawn Sword and Radiant Star instantly capitalize on the opening and rush toward the loot. Nirvana Flame calmly lifts his 3 machine and immediately realizes the loot race is basically cooked. Since snatching the equipment is no longer happening, he decides to embrace the chaos instead. Several arrows immediately fly toward Drawn Sword. Radiant Star slips past him and successfully grabs the item dropped by the draconic creature. He turns toward Nirvana Flame with a grin and silently appreciates the accidental assist. Nirvana Flame simply looks on, thinking it is unfortunate that he walks away empty-handed. Since there is nothing left to gain, he prepares to leave. Drawn Sword, however, is absolutely fuming. His face darkens as he blocks Nirvana Flame's path. Every one of his subordinates immediately surrounds Nirvana Flame, looking ready to jump him over something that is not even his fault. Peak sore loser behavior. Nirvana Flame stays completely chill and casually asks whether they seriously plan on making him stay. Radiant Star immediately steps forward and makes his position crystal clear. Nirvana Flame is his friend, and anyone wanting trouble with him has to get through the entire Radiant Temple Guild first. The guild members instantly gather behind their leader without hesitation. None of them show the slightest fear toward the Dark Massacre Guild. Drawn Sword suddenly lets out a cold laugh. His eyes fill with killing intent as he declares that today, none of them should even dream of leaving alive. The Sleepy Fox lets out a laugh and low-key mutters that there is literally nothing left for him to do here. Flying Stone immediately points at Nirvana Flame and reminds everyone that this thief is the expert he keeps hyping up, the same guy who hands him the guide to the fallen shaman camp. Flying hearing that, the Sleepy Fox glances over at Nirvana Flame and says anyone with functioning eyes already sees the receipts after watching him yoink that equipment like it belongs to him. Flying Stone asks what the next move is. The Sleepy Fox grins and casually invites Nirvana Flame to join the Holy Roman Empire Guild on a run to the Ogmot Mud Swamp in a few days. Across the battlefield, the Dark Massacre Guild leader immediately shifts his attention toward half-awake Sleepy Fox, while the Radiant Star Guild leader also locks in on the conversation. Nirvana Flame instantly realizes Flying Stone is part of the Holy Roman Empire Guild all along. Everything finally clicks. He calmly accepts the invitation but drops one condition. He gets first dibs on every thief weapon or usable thief item that drops in the dungeon. The whole crowd instantly starts yapping. They wonder if this kid lost the plot because he seriously has the audacity to negotiate with Sleepy Fox after getting rescued. The NPC energy from the peanut gallery is actually wild. One of Sleepy Fox's subordinates gets salty and complains that Nirvana Flame is asking for way too much. According to him, the guild is the one saving this guy, yet he still has the confidence to make demands. The arrogance allegations start flying harder than critical hits. Sleepy Fox just smirks instead of getting pressed. He admits the kid is absolutely arrogant, but that's exactly why he finally believes Nirvana Flame is the real deal. In his experience, people who confidently talk crazy usually have the skill to cash those checks, unlike half the frauds running around all bark and 0 DPS. He immediately agrees to the deal and promises Nirvana Flame first pick of every thief equipment drop if he joins. The crowd collectively malfunctions. Nobody can process how this random-looking thief got Sleepy Fox himself to agree to those terms without even arguing. One of the Dark Massacre Guild subordinates quietly tells his leader that the situation is cooked. Fighting 2 guilds at the same time is basically asking for a free trip back to spawn. Sleepy Fox politely asks Drawn Sword to let the matter slide and call it a day. Drawn Sword responds coldly that since guild leader Sleepy Fox personally spoke up, the issue ends there. He orders everyone to leave, and the Dark Massacre Guild backs off without another word. As they leave, the Radiant Star Guild leader walks over to Nirvana Flame and thanks him. He honestly never expected Nirvana Flame to have connections with the Holy Roman Empire Guild leader. Without today's help, he never gets that equipment. Nirvana Flame simply smiles and brushes it off, making it clear everyone is reading way too much into it. Sleepy Fox asks Radiant Star whether today's haul is any good. Radiant Star opens the blue system screen and immediately sighs because the loot is basically suffering in item form, a stout armor of courage. Sleepy Fox points out that even though it is an insanely rare gold-grade set piece, the level requirement is absolutely disrespectful. Level 100 might as well be another lifetime. Radiant Star helplessly agrees. Flying Stone happily walks over and greets Nirvana Flame again, saying they finally get to run a dungeon together next time. Nirvana Flame thanks him for helping earlier. Sleepy Fox then asks to add each other as friends, so he can contact him before the dungeon, and Radiant Star quickly joins in. Nirvana Flame secretly smiles. In his previous life, he never imagined becoming friends with these two. After everything settles down, he waves goodbye to both guild leaders and heads out. Once he leaves the area, Nirvana Flame finally checks the dagger he looted. A smirk appears on his face. It really is an offhand weapon. At only level 5, it already gives over 30 attack. Once he reaches level 5 and unlocks dual wielding, his damage output is about to go absolutely feral. The scene shifts to Telek Town at the teleportation point. Nirvana Flame notices there are still 30 minutes left before logout and decides to finish Dr. Blaven's quest while there is still time. A moment later, he teleports to Merfolk Village. The second he arrives, he frowns. The village is already completely destroyed. The victorious Return Guild wasted absolutely zero time. Looking around, he notices several solo players nearby. They probably still have fine silk. Since time is running out, buying the silk directly from them is way faster than farming it himself. Once at the heart of Lake Island, Nirvana Flame approaches Dr. Blevins, who peacefully fishes beside the river. He respectfully greets the doctor. Dr. Blevins looks up and asks whether the task is complete. Nirvana Flame nods and hands over all 90 pieces of fine silk, hoping they prove useful. Dr. Blevins happily smiles after receiving the silk. He finally gathered enough to return to Hilton Stronghold tomorrow. He bows in gratefulness, but Nirvana Flame respectfully prays for the safety of the warriors guarding Hilton Stronghold. Dr. Blevins then hands over several rewards as heartfelt thanks and wishes him a safe journey. Nirvana Flame freezes for a second after reading the stats. Another gold-grade item? Nah, the loot gods are actually glazing him today. Suddenly, a system announcement echoes across the entire server, telling players to log off since the server is shutting down in a minute. Nirvana Flame checks his experience bar. It already sits at 98%, so close, yet the server decides to hit him with the biggest comeback tomorrow imaginable. There is not enough game time left, so leveling up has to wait until the next day. Nirvana Flame slowly closes his eyes, and in the next moment, he returns to reality. After removing the gaming helmet, he immediately starts exercising while thinking everything through. Becoming stronger inside the game is not enough. He has to level up in real life too. This run is not getting ruined by lazy DLC behavior. In this life, slacking off is simply not an option. After a brief moment, determination fills his eyes. Maybe it is finally time to visit a martial arts dojo and test exactly how strong he has become. Brawl is done spawning as a background character. Nia Yen arrives at the Lin family martial arts dojo like it is just another routine stop, showing zero excitement or hesitation. He selects a training card and opts for a 2-hour session at the reception counter. The receptionist immediately recognizes him and assumes the worst, convinced he is there for personal reasons rather than training. Lin Jai, his former classmate, openly dismisses him and assumes he is still obsessed with her because of a past love letter. Nia Yen does not respond at all. He takes the card silently and walks away without engaging. Jai continues mocking him afterward, judging his financial situation and family problems, treating him as someone beneath her attention. She confidently labels him as insignificant while speaking to another young man beside her, downplaying Miuyan's presence and calling him worthless except for his academic performance. Miuyan ignores all of it and heads straight to the pull force testing machine. He grips it tightly and pulls with full strength. The machine records 162 kel as he evaluates the result calmly, comparing it to his past self and concluding that while weak by his old standards, it is acceptable for his current condition. He then moves to the weight-bearing test machine and exerts full power again, reaching 155 kg. The nearby observer is visibly shocked, struggling to process the result. Jai notices the reaction but dismisses it again, continuing to insult him by appearance alone. Nia Yen steps in front of the punching machine next. He delivers a single powerful strike. The impact echoes across the dojo, immediately silencing the surroundings and freezing everyone in place. Even Jai becomes visibly stunned, unable to maintain her earlier confidence. Nia Yen remains composed, showing no reaction to the attention. He finishes his training session and returns the card to the counter. At the reception, Jai's attitude shifts after witnessing his performance. She becomes visibly flustered and authorizes a free session along with a bonus reward for breaking the dojo record. Nia Yen accepts the reward calmly, noting internally that it was unexpected. Linjir then attempts to invite him out privately, because she's in heat by just watching his strength. He declines immediately without hesitation and leaves without further interaction, frustrated by the rejection, and attempting to preserve her pride by dismissing him again. Grapes are really sour for her. Nayo Gourd proceeds to a shopping mall using the bonus funds to purchase nutrient solutions. He concludes that his monthly supplies are secured and returns home without issue. That night, under a bright full moon, he equips his gaming helmet and enters the virtual world. He confirms his next objective as reaching level 4 and preparing to raid the elite monster Lion King Kato after acquiring the Featherfall Jewel. Inside the game, Nirvana Flame aggressively clears water spiders using his dagger, rapidly leveling up through continuous combat. He reaches level 4 and immediately evaluates his next progression step. He uses a return scroll and arrives at the Kalaroy City auction house. He anticipates a coming price surge in black phenol potions due to the upcoming SOS Valley dungeon and the poison mechanics of its monsters. He purchases 9 quivers of poison arrows along with all available black phenol potions and related recipes. The transaction surprises the auction clerk due to the scale of the purchase. Nirvana Flame leaves the auction house confident that the investment will generate significant profit once demand rises. He then teleports back to Moto Town and moves at high speed toward Crimson Dream Hills. From a cliff overlooking the area, he observes Lion King Kato's immense presence and evaluates its strength as superior to other elite monsters. He activates the Featherfall Jewel and jumps from the cliff. The descent becomes slow and controlled as gravity is reduced significantly. While descending, he activates the Spider-Man ring, firing spider silk to a nearby tree branch and stabilizing his position mid-air. From that suspended position, he identifies a previously unused vantage point. He prepares his triple bow machine, loads poison arrows, and sets up the attack from above, initiating the raid strategy with full preparation. At the Crimson Dream Hills near Moto Town, players stay in constant sweat mode, non-stop farming lions just to level up and stack materials. Among them stands the absolute menace, level 6 shield warrior Bladelight of the World Sweeping Guild. He flexes at the top of a fallen lion like it's a trophy display. One of his teammates nervously asks if they should keep grinding another 2 hours before dipping since lion pelts are almost stacked enough. Bladelight just nods like it's nothing, and says it's a shame a lion armor didn't drop even though a lion shield already did. On the side, level 6 elemental mage Gyao drops the stats reality check, saying lion armor has only a 0.2% drop rate, so expecting it is basically dreaming. Bladelight claps back laughing, pointing out the lion shield drop was only 0.1% and still happened anyway. Another guy, Heiju, instantly calls it pure luck, basically roasting him low-key. Bladelight, getting hyped, tells Heiju that if lion armor drops too, his defense becomes straight up unkillable. Hiraju just side-eyes him mentally, thinking he's way too full of himself for someone slightly cracked at the game. Then Bladelight suddenly locks onto something on a nearby cliff and gets stunned like, bro, what is that? Up there, player Nirvana Flame is hanging off a tree using a weaver's ring like it's casual parkour. He's suspended mid-air, absolutely farming the elite Lion King below with a poison hand crossbow like a complete menace. He fires 3 poison bolts straight into the Lion King, poisoning it and chunking its HP. The beast roars, offended by the disrespect paid. Another player watching freaks out, basically saying it makes no sense to fight a monster head-on with a crossbow. Someone else is hyped, calling it genius because he's basically farming damage without taking hits. Bladelight, actually analyzing instead of just glazing, figures out the setup. Weaver's ring for hanging, plus probably weight reduction gear. Even if someone is rich, pulling both items together is not easy. Another player is straight up impressed, saying this grinding style is clean and overpowered since it avoids damage completely while stacking kills fast. But Heiju still questions what kind of monster even needs such a complicated setup. Then the ground suddenly shakes. Everyone freezes. Elite Lion King appears. One player even suggests stealing the kill, but before anything happens, a whole lion pride shows up as backup. Panic hits instantly. Everyone scatters. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame keeps chilling in midair, continuing poison shots like it's a personal vendetta. The Lion King tries reaching him but can't close the distance at all. He smirks, fully exploiting the situation, basically saying the whole range disadvantage is exactly why this spot was chosen. Every bolt keeps landing clean. After 30 minutes of pure grind violence, the Lion King goes berserk at low HP. He keeps firing, clean hits, no panic. Finally, the beast drops dead. Nirvana Flame lands using a Featherfall Jewel, and casually calls the strategy overpowered, saying even the Lion Pride won't be able to lock onto him properly. Loot inspection kicks in. Super Insight reveals top-tier drops. Lion King Shield and Black Blood Cloak stats pop off. Defense, resistance, movement speed, all solid. He confirms they're usable and basically perfect for his build. System notification hits, he levels up to 5. Now he can dual wield and fully equip upgraded gear. He checks his loadout, Horn Dagger in main hand, Assassin's Precept in offhand, quick turning boots, Black Blood Cloak, movement speed is now cracked. He states he can now farm zones up to level 7 freely, basically scaling ahead of the map. Then he notices it. The Lion Pride is still coming. He instantly activates stealth and starts retreating, but then he crashes into someone moving the opposite direction. It's Bladelight. Both get pushed back, regain balance fast. Nirvana recognizes him immediately and is shocked, but he also remembers that this kid was among the top 3 shield warriors on the entire server. Surrounded by lions on all sides, Bladelight proposes a team-up to break out together. Nirvana Flame agrees. Bladelight goes full tank mode, slamming his shield down, activating Intimidate, pulling aggro, a pro frontliner. He tells Nirvana Flame to use stun skills and help carve a path. Nirvana Flame keeps it simple, saying he handles damage and leaves defense to Bladelight. They sync up perfectly. Bladelight controls front pressure while Nirvana Flame locks down targets with stuns and burst hits. They start clearing lines efficiently, creating an opening. They push through and escape the encirclement. After breaking distance, Bladelight finally relaxes, laughing that they actually escaped. Nirvana Flame silently notes this guy keeps pace and enables clean DPS flow without collapsing, basically elite tank behavior. Eventually they stop and catch their breath. Bladelight extends his hand, introducing himself properly and promising repayment for the help. Nirvana Flame looks at him and recognizes the future potential from past experience. Bladelight was one of the top shield warriors on the server, top 3 tier, the kind who normally carried guilds. He also remembers how betrayal in that timeline ruined everything around him. His girlfriend cheated on him with his friend. The poor guy withdrew from the guild and made a new one, declining into a second-rate guild over time. In the present moment, Nirvana Flame shakes his hand and introduces himself as a thief. And in that handshake moment, he locks in a decision. This timeline doesn't have to repeat the same downfall. Nirvana Flame pulls out a fresh piece of gear and flexes it straight at Bladelight. He hits him with the offer, casually asking if he's a shield warrior and mentioning it's up for sale after a drop. Bladelight looks at the item and instantly glitches mentally. The Lion King's shield hits his eyes and he basically freezes. In his head, he's comparing it to his own Lion Shield grind and realizing it's straight up disrespectful how much better this one is. He's low-key stressed but tries to act normal, scratching his head awkwardly and admitting he doesn't have enough silver coins. He says he can trade thief-class items from his storage or pay later once he stacks enough currency. Nirvana Flame doesn't even flinch and says that works. Then he casually checks Bladelight's guild info through the system like he's browsing receipts and asks about a player named Heju from the Unhindered Guild. Bladelight confirms he knows him and immediately gets suspicious, asking how Nirvana Flame knows that name. Nirvana Flame drops a whole bomb casually, saying a friend saw Haiju and a woman named Ji Yan at the Knight's Charm bar in Kalar City, and they had some kind of conflict. He then asks if they're close. Bladelight fully freezes. His brain just blue-screened. Then the anger hits hard. He says Yu Yan is his girlfriend and Haiju is basically his brother, the 2 people he trusts most, and he can't believe they'd be involved in something shady behind his back. Nirvana Flame just shrugs it off like it's not his problem, saying if he runs into Haiju again, they're not staying friendly. He adds it has nothing to do with Bladelight, and even tells him to hit him up if he ever leaves the Unhindered Guild. Bladelight immediately gets defensive, calling it out that he's being poached and straight up refusing the idea. He says leaving the guild is impossible, and joining another one is even more impossible. Nirvana Flame laughs it off, waves casually and walks away. The conversation just background noise. Internally, he doesn't expect to convince him that easily, but is confident the truth will eventually hit different later. Bladelight stands there stuck in his own thoughts, refusing to believe it, but still feeling that annoying doubt creeping in. He tries to gaslight himself into trusting his people, but the seed is already planted. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame activates stealth and sprints forward at max speed. He's already locked onto his next target, a level 8 sub-elite monster in the Crimson Dream Plains, the Ogre Devourer. In his mind, it's basically free XP waiting to be harvested. He spots it massive, ugly 6000 HP, just standing there like it owns the place. He gets hyped because there are no extra ogres around to mess up the fight. Clean solo setup. He analyzes it carefully, noting its slow-looking body but deceptively fast movement. He keeps distance, jumps onto a tree branch, and readies his triple bow crossbow like a pro. Since it's only a sub-elite, he assumes it's easier than Lion King Cardo. From his prior life knowledge, the only real danger is the petrifying gaze skill. He fires poison arrows. They land clean. The Ogre Devourer takes damage and instantly turns and charges, and Nirvana Flame instantly locks in mentally. This thing can one-shot him if petrifying gaze lands. No room for mistakes. The ogre swings its giant club and destroys the branch in one hit. Wood explodes everywhere, but Nirvana Flame already dipped out mid-air like it was predictable. He analyzes mid-movement, reading the attack pattern like it's scripted. He knows petrifying gaze is coming within seconds. And yeah, it triggers. The ogre's eyes glow. Nirvana Flame reacts instantly, activating the Spider-Man ring and swinging to another branch before the skill can lock him down. He counters immediately with another volley of poison arrows. Damage stacks up steadily while the ogre goes feral, smashing trees. Branches explode, debris flies, but Nirvana Flame keeps hopping platforms like it's parkour training on steroids. The ring basically turns him into a constant kite machine. He keeps wearing it down, slowly dropping its HP to 31%. He thinks it's almost done, just a bit more kiting and it's over. Then the vibe instantly goes bad. He lands on a branch and sees 3 normal ogres ahead. His whole mental flow breaks. Getting surrounded here means instant death, especially with petrifying gaze in the mix. Cold sweat kicks in as he evaluates fast. point he decides not to gamble. He switches plans instantly. No more long-range play. He's going for a direct finish. The Devourer charges again, swinging hard. Nirvana Flame dodges smoothly, circles behind it, and draws his dagger. He locks in for the finisher. The dagger flashes and pierces the neck clean. The ogre lets out a final roar as damage pours in. Its HP drops to 0. Nirvana Flame retreats instantly as the massive body collapses, but the moment of victory doesn't last. A sudden ambush hits him straight in the face. Another ogre appears out of nowhere and smashes him with a club. It roars like it just secured the play of the century. Then it freezes, because nothing happens. Nirvana Flame doesn't move an inch, he just stands there like the hit was cosmetic. Slowly he turns his head toward it, expression dark and cold. And he asks Icy and Calm, who just tried landing a critical hit on him. Nirvana Flame instantly rushes in with 0 chill and swings his dagger like it's personal. Within minutes, the Ogre Devourer drops with a final roar, totally folded. One by one, he wipes out every ogre in the area like it's a cleanup job nobody asked for, but everyone benefits from. After making sure the whole zone is monster-free, he steps in to loot. As he sorts through drops, his eyes literally light up like he just hit jackpot IRL. Crossbow of Bloodshed and Moonlight Ritual Staff, both gold tier. He admits killing higher-level mobs hits different because the XP jumps to 74% and the loot drops are straight-up disrespectful. Soon after, Nirvana Flame shows up at the Carroll City auction house acting like he owns the place. He dumps the gear on the counter and requests everything go up for auction, then casually asks for all black phenol potions, practically making it a grocery run. The merchant immediately goes full polite mode. Out of nowhere, he notices a player hyping up a skill book. Advanced potion materials, thief skill book, rapid retreat. No one misses out. Nirvana Flame locks in instantly. Rapid retreat actually catches his attention. He walks over and the seller clocks him as a thief and tries to sell the pitch harder. Nirvana Flame scans him and instantly clocks the drip. Lightwalker robes, Wind of the Falling Moon staff. Not your average random, definitely someone who didn't grind casual. He calls Rapid Retreat a rare escape skill, basically top tier don't get folded ability for thieves in the wild. The seller flexes his luck, saying his squad got nothing in days at Radiant Canyon, but he got the drop in 3 hours. Market value? Higher than silver gear. Radiant Canyon gets mentioned and Nirvana Flame immediately probes deeper, asking if Radiant Monastery was cleared and if Fatal Strike dropped too. The seller says they're nowhere near clearing it. That's when Nirvana Flame notices the name Divine Retribution. He freezes internally. That name is not new to him. In his past life, this guy was a menace-level independent player who clashed with the Radiant Sacred Flame Guild and built serious reputation by wiping guild members with his crew. No guild support though, so his fame eventually got buried under bigger factions. Nirvana Flame realizes he just ran into him way too early in the timeline. He smoothly introduces himself and buys Rapid Retreat for 1 silver and 50 copper. The seller immediately clocks him as high-tier player and insists 1 silver is enough. After the trade, Nirvana Flame instantly sends a friend request. It gets accepted with 0 hesitation. Nirvana Flame casually drops the idea of future dungeon runs and Divine Retribution is visibly hyped because his group has been struggling to form proper parties. Then Nirvana Flame notices a stack of herbs nearby. He asks about them and learns 3 of their members are running gathering professions just to survive economically. Nearby, a pharmacist's stall is in chaos. A potion fails, and Eggless Birds gets absolutely cooked by the Dark Ranger Guild members. They roast him, blame him, and physically humiliate him while trashing his work. The man thrashes him both physically and verbally, before storming off. The whole situation is messy and toxic. Nirvana Flame watches silently, expression going cold. Divine Retribution tries to stop him from getting involved, but Nirvana Flame already locks in mentally. He recognizes the situation instantly. Eggless Bird isn't just some unlucky guy. In his past life, this washed apprentice became the future king of potions. The same guy who later got recruited by Victorious Return and created potions that caused major headaches for Nirvana Flame's enemies. Right now, though, just a nobody getting disrespected. Nirvana Flame smiles because the timing couldn't be better. Freshly kicked out, perfect recruitment window. He walks straight up because he's already decided the outcome. Divine Retribution tries to stop him, but he ignores it completely. He doesn't care about guild politics, he cares about talent. He confronts Eggless Bird left and asks about the mage from earlier, Razor. Then he hits him with a direct question about humiliation. The poor birdie is shaken, confused, and defensive. Nirvana Flame doesn't flinch. He tells him to come along if he wants people to regret today. No fake promises, just raw confidence. The words hit different. Years of frustration finally crack something open inside him. The guy breaks down, then slowly rebuilds himself in real time emotionally. Nirvana Flame walks off, fully convinced the guy will follow, because he recognizes the pattern, same helpless start he once had. But this time, he's not on the losing side. Eggless Bird runs after him, confused but curious, asking what he's even supposed to do since his potion skills are trash and his success rate is basically grieving his own wallet. Nirvana Flame just says it's still potion brewing. Bird with no eggs left brings up his hidden skill 2% chance to boost potion effects but thinks it's useless because his failure rate is so bad it cancels everything. Nirvana Flame pauses for a second, then actually calls it decent instead of dismissing it. Is this confused again, like, bro, what do you even see in me? Nirvana Flame simply says he'll cover all brewing costs. That alone flips everything. The eggless bird realizes this stranger is betting on him even when it makes no logical sense. And behind that confusion, something new starts forming. Direction. He follows Nirvana Flame, unsure where it leads, but for the first time in a long time not standing still. Nirvana Flame casually hands an agreement over to Eggless Bird. He starts reading it and immediately goes into full system overload, completely stunned by what he's seeing. The deal turns out insanely stacked. He doesn't even have to pay for medicinal herbs, and on top of that, he gets a 30% profit share after potion sales. The number alone feels broken. The whole thing is so generous it basically makes normal contracts look like scams. Nirvana Flame stays calm and composed, treating it like a normal decision and signaling that Eggless Bird is worth the investment. The other man locks in immediately, fists clenched, fully fired up, now motivated like his entire life just got patched. Nirvana Flame prepares to leave but pauses mid-movement. He points out that any serious alchemist should have proper storage capacity and high-end equipment. Without hesitation, he provides both a storage bag and high-grade herbs. Eggless Bird completely freezes on the spot, processing the items, and his brain just crashes. The generosity is so extreme it feels unreal to him. Gratitude hits hard. Eggless Bird is visibly overwhelmed, realizing the favor is massive beyond anything he can easily repay. Nirvana Flame dismisses the emotional reaction like it's unnecessary drama, explaining that personal motives exist and that the focus should be on brewing potions and generating profit. Eggless Bird instantly shifts into full dedication mode, clutching the resources and heading off to start brewing without hesitation. As he leaves, Nirvana Flame reflects internally with calculated ambition. The goal is to raise Eggless Bird into a top-tier Grandmaster Alchemist, building a reliable core team to avoid repeating past failures involving powerful financial factions. With that resolved, attention shifts back to personal progression. Nirvana Flame recalls fragmented knowledge about rare items and hidden legendary gear. Among them is a thief-oriented god-tier artifact known as Sogo's Shadow, a pair of legendary boots with extreme value. However, the item is not intact. It is split into 3 fragments scattered across the Vidian Empire, making it a high-difficulty collection quest. The journey leads into the Natlan Marshes. Arrival is confirmed, and the area is treated as a critical hunting zone. In the previous timeline, the fragments were already taken before any opportunity existed. This time the situation is different, and the objective is clear possession of the artifact. As he advances deeper into the marsh, subtle movement ripples through the ground ahead. Without warning, a level 6 swamp giant lizard bursts into view. It immediately lunges. Caught off guard, Nirvana Flame instinctively steps back, then quickly stabilizes and draws both daggers from his waist. He activates Vital Strike. The attack instantly tears through a large portion of the monster's HP. The lizard lets out a painful scream. Nirvana Flame leaps upward and lands directly on its back, driving a powerful strike into its head and reducing its HP to 0. After the kill, he twirls his dagger with a faint smile, noting that the swamp environment slightly limits his performance. Still, with improved level and equipment, even a higher-level swamp giant lizard no longer feels strenuous. As he continues forward, the swamp grows denser and the fog becomes thicker. He remains cautious, aware not only of hidden monsters but also of potential players. The Natlan Marshes serve as a forbidden zone for low-level players, but function as a paradise for advanced players. It drops excellent equipment and, more importantly, offers a chance to obtain the Priest's Basic Resurrection Skill Book. Deeper in, fragments of ancient ruins begin to appear scattered across the marsh. Suddenly, something feels off. Nirvana Flame presses a hand to his head as dizziness sets in. His HP begins to decrease steadily. His expression shifts sharply as he realizes he is poisoned. Without hesitation, he activates Swift Retreat. At that instant, a massive creature slams into the ground where he had stood moments earlier. A tail becomes visible through the fog. It is a level 7 sub-elite basilisk. A giant horned basilisk emerges from the thick mist. It releases a deafening roar. Nirvana Flame immediately retreats. Swift Retreat proves useful far earlier than expected. Although its raw stats are not overwhelming, the swamp terrain places him at a clear disadvantage. The horned basilisk, enraged as its prey escapes, roars again and charges forward at terrifying speed. On the other side of the ancient ruins, a party of players stands among the broken structures. A level 6 berserker known as Eternal Sin of Light and Dark, wielding a massive greatsword, surveys the area with a frown. Candy has not returned. Beside him, a level 6 holy mage named Suli observes that too many monsters have already been pulled from the area. The berserker notes that no monsters remain nearby and that the party will have nothing left to grind unless they move deeper. At that moment, a figure emerges from the fog. Candy, a level 5 thief, returns while dragging a large train of lizard monsters behind him, effortlessly avoiding their attacks while using movement skills to maintain speed. The berserker tightens his grip on his great sword and signals the mages to prepare. The mage team begins chanting spells. The berserker activates Whirlwind Slash and releases a distant blade wave that cuts into the charging monsters. Simultaneously, the mages unleash Roaring Thunderburst, sending bolts of lightning crashing into the swarm and rapidly reducing their HP. Candy darts into the chaos, rapidly striking with daggers to finish off weakened targets. Within moments, the entire group of lizard monsters is eliminated. Standing among the fallen bodies, Candy spins his dagger and shows signs of boredom. The berserker lowers his weapon and confirms that the area has been cleared, instructing the party to rest before moving to another grinding location. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame sprints through the marsh toward the same direction. He spots a group of players ahead and immediately assesses them as a full party with strong equipment. At the same time, the party also detects his presence. A thief has entered the area alone, suggesting considerable skill. Candy becomes visibly excited, viewing the newcomer as entertainment. The atmosphere shifts as killing intent spreads through the fog. Nirvana Flame senses hostility despite having provoked nothing. The berserker charges directly toward him. Nirvana Flame smirks and alters his movement mid-air to evade the incoming strike, preparing to redirect the situation. A sudden, unnatural sound echoes through the marsh. The berserker reacts as a massive serpent-like creature emerges from the mist. A massive horned basilisk crashes through the fog, charging straight at the squad with zero chill. The horned basilisk throws its jaws wide open and blitzes straight at Eternal Sin. Berserker instantly raises his dark sword to block, but the monster hits like a freight train on steroids. His teeth grind together as he struggles to keep those giga-sized jaws from turning him into free XP. Realization hits him hard. That sneaky thief is literally baiting the basilisk toward the squad. Meanwhile, Nirvana Flame is already zooming in another direction, but before he gets far, a lightning spell smacks him clean in the back. A system notification pops up immediately. The team containing player Suchi attacks him, giving him 30 minutes of legitimate self-defense time. Nirvana Flame glances toward the enemy mages, instantly realizing those damage numbers are straight up illegal. Before he can think any further, danger crashes in from behind. Candy pops out of stealth with his blade aimed straight at Nirvana Flame's back, thinking he's about to farm an easy kill. Too bad. Nirvana Flame instantly senses the attack, activates stun, spins around and blocks it with his dagger. Their weapons collide. Candy freezes for a second. Brock actually detected him. Nirvana Flame wastes 0 frames. He activates Weaver's Ring, shoots his grapple toward a distant tree branch, and swings onto it in one smooth movement. His eyes narrow. This guy is the real deal. If he wants to cook this squad, he'll have to let the basilisk do most of the heavy lifting first. But back on the battlefield, the raging horned basilisk opens its mouth again and barrels toward Eternal Sin. The guy tightens his grip without flinching. At the last possible second, he drives his dark blade straight into the basilisk's mouth, stopping the bite cold. Now the dude is beyond tilted. The squad immediately shifts focus toward hunting Nirvana Flame while Candy gets assigned to intercept him. Candy activates stealth without a shred of doubt. Brock is convinced he's about to clutch. At almost the same moment, Nirvana Flame also disappears into stealth, blending perfectly among the trees. Seeing that solely, the Holy Mage immediately warns everyone. The thief is invisible too. Nobody let that rat get close. Hidden inside the shadows, Nirvana Flame casually wraps a combat bandage around himself, recovering HP while wearing the biggest smirk imaginable. The basilisk can babysit them for now. They're strong enough to actually smoke the monster, and now every single one of them is busy searching for him. This is definitely not the moment to jump in. Meanwhile, the furious basilisk unleashes a massive cloud of poisonous gas. The toxic breath slams directly into Eternal Sin, and his HP starts draining non-stop. The squad's priest immediately prepares Dispel, but Candy tells him to use Illuminate. As Shiyan begins casting, Nirvana Flame bursts out of stealth at full speed, dagger aimed directly at his back. But Candy completely reads the play. Illuminate exposes Nirvana Flame's exact position the moment his dagger is about to land. Candy slides in and blocks the attack, saving Shiyan by the narrowest margin. A grin spreads across Candy's face. Lucky guess, except it doesn't feel lucky at all. Nirvana Flame's stealth instantly breaks. Without hesitation, he activates Rapid Retreat and flips backward to create distance. Then reality hits. Illuminate marked him. For the next 2 minutes, Glimmer Mark will constantly reveal his location. Since his rebirth, this is literally the first sneak attack that completely flopped. This squad isn't giving him another free opening. Retreat becomes the only smart play. Still recovering from almost becoming free loot, Shiyan looks toward Candy with visible disbelief. If Candy hadn't stepped in, that priest would already be face down in the dirt. Candy casually licks the candy in his hand, unbothered by whatever's happening. Back on the battlefield, Eternal Sin keeps trading blows with the horned basilisk. Now that Illuminate permanently exposed Nirvana Flame's location, Berserker figures the thief won't risk getting close again. Might as well finish the boss first. Far away, Nirvana Flame lands on top of a mountain cliff overlooking the battlefield. His eyes narrow. The basilisk is almost out of HP. It's probably about to run. Right on cue, the horned basilisk opens its mouth again and releases another massive wave of poisonous gas toward Eternal Sin. He instantly realizes what's happening. The monster isn't attacking anymore, it's escaping. The very next second, the horned basilisk spins around and sprints away at full speed. The squad immediately chases after it, refusing to let legendary loot despawn. From the mountaintop, Nirvana Flame watches everything unfold with the biggest grin. Finally, RNG decided to stop roasting him for once. Before the squad catches up, he can intercept the nearly dead basilisk himself. Nirvana catches up to the large lizard and instantly pulls out the arrow thrower and fires several poison arrows. Every arrow lands clean. The basilisk's already tiny HP bar shrinks even further. The monster roars in fury, but Nirvana Flame never gives it the chance to fight back. He explodes forward, activates Vital Strike, leaps onto the basilisk's head, and drives his dagger straight through its skull. The horned basilisk releases one final earth-shaking roar before crashing lifelessly onto the ground. Meanwhile, Eternal Sin and his squad continue following the monster's tracks. Moments later, Xian spots Nirvana Flame calmly looting the corpse. The realization hits everyone at once. The thief stole the kill. The squad immediately starts casting spells. Standing comfortably out of range, Nirvana Flame glances back with the most disrespectful grin imaginable. Then this absolute menace blows them a flying kiss. Thanks for carrying the boss fight, bozos. A holy light spell flies toward him, but he effortlessly dashes aside, making the attack whiff harder than a level 1 trying to fight a raid boss. Still smiling, he looks down at the item in his hand. His luck is actually insane today. The drop is real, a skill book called Basic Resurrection.